Thank you for staying with us. This is the AM News, starting off with the NPP flag bearer hopeful. Kennedy Agyapong has told party delegates and members he is the only candidate that can return the party to power in 2028 if he is elected as its presidential candidate. Now, speaking after submitting his nomination forms at the party headquarters, the former Asin Central MP said his track record as a successful businessman will guide him to create more jobs for Ghana's unemployed youth. Kennedy has more.
Well, it's been a very busy day at the headquarters of the opposition New Patriotic Party, where not just one but two flag bearer hopefuls have filed their nominations. Well, first was the former MP for Asin Central, Kennedy Agyapong, who filed his nomination, urging delegates to choose him over any other candidate due to his track record as a successful businessman. Well, he pitched the idea to candidates that he's the only one that can help create jobs if he is elected.
Ghanaians are looking for a businessman to create jobs for the youth of this country. Chobol, we are no more going to listen to rhetorics. We want somebody who can create businesses for the youth of this country. I always say that any human being without a job has no life. Do you want life? Do you want life? Then vote for Kennedy Agyapong for life.
Next was the MP for Abetifi, Brian Achampon, who also came in enthusiastically urging supporters to vote for him. Brian urged restraints amongst his supporters not to engage in a smear campaign against any opponent. He said as well that he is the one who is best fit to lead the New Patriotic Party into the next elections in 2028.
To prosperity. The NPP has a job to do in government. I shall win power and continue with that job. I shall focus on jobs, food security, and infrastructure. For security, you know that's my turf. Today, having now submitted my form to run as flag bearer of the NPP, it effectively means that I have submitted my declaration for unity, for a disciplined campaign. Thus, my supporters, north to south, east to west, must shy away from comments and commentary that smears individuals and ultimately affects the fortunes of our party.
Well, the party's National Communications Director, Richard Ahiagba, earlier addressed the press. He raised a number of issues, including allegations that the NDC was training thugs disguised as national security operatives in Akwatia to cause mayhem.
The New Patriotic Party has very reliable information and intelligence that the NDC intends to hide behind the guise of national security to terrorize some residents and voters in Akwatia and during the by-election. It is instructive to note that the police administration has indicated their deployment of 5,000 service men for the Akwatia by-election. Despite the IGP's unequivocal assurance that the Ghana Police Service does not need any military support to maintain law and order, the famous Richard Jakba, my namesake, who has been appointed as the Director of Operation at the National Security, has been seen perambulating the Akwatia constituency with soldiers and reportedly threatening some indigents and residents to leave town before the by-election in their own interest.
Well, the filing of nominations does not end today. Tomorrow on Thursday, former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and former Education Minister Dr. Yao Seduchum will be here to file their nominations as well to lead the party into the general elections 2028. From the NPP's national headquarters in Accra, My name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Away from that, Water Aid Ghana, in collaboration with the Office of the Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, has convened a national summit on climate change and its impact on water, sanitation and hygiene systems. The summit held in Accra brought together key stakeholders to discuss WASH intervention can be made more resilient in the face of climate threats. My colleague Noela Karen Iyali was there and has now reports.
Here at the Zaato hotels in Accra, government officials, industry experts and development partners are meeting under the theme Strengthening Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Resilience in the Face of Climate Change. Now, the summit put together by Water Aid Ghana in collaboration with the Ministry of State for Climate Change and Sustainability is also disseminating information on research work done on how vulnerable communities are coping with climate risk. The Climate Change Risk Vulnerability Assessment conducted across 5 districts in the Upper East region, including Boko, Bongo, Nabdam and Kasana-Nankana, revealed worrying outcomes for communities already grappling with erratic rainfall, water shortages and declining sanitation infrastructure. Program Manager for WASH and Climate at Water Aid Ghana, Engineer Richard Ntebri, highlighted these findings, stressing the urgent need for targeted interventions.
Actually, one, there are key gaps around infrastructure. The infrastructure we have in the areas of study are not resilient enough. When I say they are not resilient enough, they are designed to deliver wash services, but when the impact of climate change hits, they are not able to sustain the service. Okay, so you have a latrine that would not be able to deliver, allow people to use when there's a flooding, because either access to the latrine is compromised, or even the toilet itself is filled with water. You have water systems that in the dry season are not able to deliver water to the people that are using it. So in that case, you have a wash system, but you don't have a climate resilient wash system that will stand the test of time when climate impact strikes. Yeah.
Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability, Honorable Isifu Seidu, outlined his ministry's vision for tackling climate change, pledging stronger actions to safeguard water and sanitation systems nationwide.
Building on this foundation, I have set forth a clear vision to establish a climate change and sustainability hub, a center of excellence that coordinates research, policy, innovation, ensuring that knowledge from initiatives like WASH for Climate informs national planning and global advocacy. To institutionalize climate change and sustainability units across ministries, departments, agencies, metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. These units will mainstream climate action into every sector of our economy. What we are doing currently in our ministry is to make sure that we're able to cross the dots from all the ministries, because climate change affects almost all ministries that we have in Ghana, the 22 ministries and beyond.
He also called for a united front amongst African leaders in pushing for debt relief mechanisms, which he believes are crucial for funding climate action on the continent.
We all know that these effects that we're grappling with is not the cause of we in the developing countries. It is a function of somebody in far away somewhere in the globe attempting to develop their nations. And we in vulnerable countries, we in West Africa, are now grappling with the consequences of somebody developing his country somewhere. So why do we go into capital market, into bond markets to raise money to be able to build community resilience? Somebody must be responsible for that. So I want to use this opportunity to champion that we need to have one common voice as Africans. We need to have a voice that will speak to the initiative of developing climate debt forgiving mechanism that will help developing countries that are worse hit because somebody has developed his country. It is important for us to begin to speak this language and work towards it and fight for it. It is part of climate justice.
Stakeholders here agree that the fight against climate change cannot be won without resilient water, sanitation, best hygiene practices and systems. From the Wash for Change Summit here in Accra, I'm Noella Kareniali, and this is Joy News.
The Ministry of Education has set September 17 for the release of school placements for candidates of the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination. Now, the announcement was made at a press conference following the release of this year's BECE results. Maxwell Akloboto was there and has filed this report.
Following the release of the 2025 Basic Education Certificate Examination results, the Ministry of Education says it has commenced processing the data in order to release the school placement for the candidates. Speaking at a press conference, the Director General of GES, Professor Ernest Davis, gave a 3-week ultimatum to release the school placement. He also announced September 17th as the official date for publishing the school placements.
We have begun processing the data. Placement will be matched against vacancies in the second cycle institutions. And this process is expected to take not more than 3 weeks. We hope by 3 weeks we should be ready. From 1st to 8th September, as I indicated earlier, we will open the system for review by candidates to review their entries, to confirm their choices, their agenda, and so on and so forth. On 9th September, we will release explainer videos for checking placement. By 17th September, official publication of placement result will be available online.
He further says call centers will be set up after the release in order to help candidates who might have some challenges with their school placements.
By 18th September, that is a day after the release of the placement, call centers and district resolution centers will be set up for candidates to seek redress for issues that might be associated with their placement. 1 month later, that is between 18th to 20th October, the first year student will report to school.
The ministry says it is ready for the placement process and assures candidates and their parents to remain calm as they await their school placements. Reporting for Joy News, Maxwell Akloboto.
In other stories, human trafficking continues to cast a dark shadow over Ghana, with children among the most vulnerable, exploited in fission, domestic work and street hawking. These victims are trapped in a cycle of abuse as authorities and partners like the International Justice Mission ramp up efforts to protect them and bring traffickers to justice. Andase has more in the following report.
Human trafficking in Ghana remains a serious concern, with the country serving as a source, transit and destination point for both internal and cross-border trafficking. Children are particularly vulnerable, often exploited in sectors such as fishing, domestic work, agriculture and street hawking. Speaking at the National Justice Conference, the Ghana Police Service has issued a call to action, urging every individual to commit to protecting victims and fighting human trafficking without fear or favor.
A call to action for the future. The threats against the vulnerable remain rare. Human trafficking, abuse, exploitation, and corruption. Let us recommit ourselves today to serve with integrity, to protect without fear or favor, and to be relentless in defending the dignity of every person, because justice is not a privilege, it is the right of all.
A representative from the Department of Social Welfare, speaking on behalf of the ministry and in partnership with the International Justice Mission, also highlighted several challenges that hinders efforts and undermine the fight against human trafficking.
As a department, some MMDAs in the country continues to face the problem of irregular migration and transnational trafficking, which involve trafficking children from neighboring countries to Ghana to engage in begging for arms on the street. And when girls are also coerced into prostitution to pay exorbitant fees for transportation and lodging. Again, weak cross-border collaboration in administrative procedure also continues to pose a big challenge when trafficked children need to be repatriated to their various countries and ensure proper reunification with their families. This is also a big challenge, and this required coordinated efforts among neighboring countries, which mostly is lacking.
The IJM, in collaboration with the government institutions in Ghana, aims to expand its operation across the country to reach more regions and work towards the complete eradication of human trafficking, according to IJM Country Director, Ms. Anita Budu. This would enable all partners to be equipped with the appropriate resources for their work.
We want to expand our operations into other regions in Ghana to be able to provide the support that we've provided in particular regions, particularly Volta, OT, Central, Eastern to date. We want to expand that support to our government partners across wider regions in Ghana to be able to enable our government partners to be well equipped to deal with situations of trafficking in the agricultural sector. And we want to get to a point where our government partners are working more and more independently in this space.
Tackling human trafficking in Ghana requires collaboration, vigilance, and the right resources. Through initiative led by the Ghana Police Service, IJM, and other partners, there's renewed hope that victims will be protected and trafficking networks dismantled across the country. And that's his report read.
January and August this year, Dunkwao, Onofe, the capital of the Upper Daintra East Municipality, has recorded 22 tragic drowning deaths in abandoned mining pits. The alarming toll has prompted the Central Regional Land Reclamation Committee to roll out an urgent reclamation exercise to prevent further loss of lives. During the exercise, Central Regional NADMO Director Emmanuel Mensah Dawood described the situation as a growing menace, noting that the number of abandoned pits in the region or the region's mining areas continues to rise. He called on stakeholders and local authorities to act decisively to safeguard lives and protect property in the affected communities. Abigail Aisel Nkrumah reports.
The Central Regional NADMO is intensifying its mission to protect lives and property. The management is currently on a land reclamation exercise in the Upper Daintra East Municipality. The Regional NADMO Director, Emmanuel Mensah Dawood, shared that land reclamation became necessary due to the high number of abandoned pits in mining areas, revealing that the municipality's capital, Dunkwao alone, recorded 22 cases of drowning between January and August, among other challenges.
Land reclamation has become necessary because Central Regional leadership have realized that the issue of abandoned pits in mining areas after their mining activities are completed, is on the ascendancy, and it is creating serious menace in our mining communities by way of protecting lives and properties. So far as protecting lives and properties are concerned, here in the Upper Daintra East Municipality alone, from January to August 2025, we have recorded 22 cases of drowning from abandoned pits. Not only the drowning issues, we are talking about serious environmental degradation. We are talking about health and disease epidemics. These abandoned pits providing breeding grounds for serious viruses and other harmful disease-causing pathogens.
The NADMO Director also urged stakeholders and authorities in the region to be proactive to prevent potential disasters, especially with the region's 10 mining districts.
Regional Minister Honorable Coach Epin has provided necessary logistical and transportational support to complement the effort of the Upper Dentra East MCE. And we are here in Dunkofin. In Central Region, we have 10 mining districts or constituencies for that matter. We need to be proactive to forestall avoidable disasters, and that is why this reclamation exercise is important. And we call on all our stakeholders, including the miners themselves, Nanano and all, to come on board to help us to achieve our set objectives.
George Anani Coleman, the MC of Upper Dentra East Municipality, issued a warning to miners.
We are going to, send message out to all miners, both legal and illegal, whoever has dug a pit outside. We are giving them amnesty to willingly come out to, make use of the support we are going to give them. We have already, the regional minister has given us the drip machines, the bulldozers and other machines that can help in the, reclamation exercise. From
Dunkornofin, Abigail Lisol Nkoma reports for Joy News.
You're watching the AM News, and time now to bring you business update. Aliyah Hunter Pele is on standby.
All right, thank you very much, MFI. You are the ever messier. All right, now senior finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, has urged the Bank of Ghana to act swiftly to end the practice of businesses quoting prices in dollars. Even though he admits enforcing the Bank of Ghana directives on quoting in dollars will require a lot of work, Dr. Amoah said the central bank must be seen to be acting by setting examples. He made the statement after the Bank of Ghana warned the public against, unauthorized forex transactions.
It will be difficult. It will be difficult because until the central bank gets the hint of it, he will not know, right? He will not know. So it becomes a bit difficult because, again, what happens between the banks and the forex bureau is such a deep valley that so many things can happen from the banks through to the forex bureau, not deliberate, but then there may be some loopholes that can be exploited. Now, if I am buying or I'm selling in dollars, and you don't get a hint of it at central bank, how will you change? How will you follow me? How will you deal with that particular act? So the central bank is coming out, which is good, but then they will have to look at it and then make sure that the system that they put in place can pick on the needed, flashpoint and to deal with the issue. What I was expecting that if the policy starts from 1st of September, we just have about 4 days to go. Look, this guideline that is out, how many individuals can have access to? I was expecting that the central bank through the commercial banks will force the commercial banks to send minimum text messages to their customers that this and this and this will be happening from so and so time. So we should be aware. How many of us will be aware if we don't have access? So the central bank will also have to look at how some of these information can trickle down to the very details of individuals that we have in the society. If not, the banks will just paste this in their branches.
All right.
And how many customers will go to the branches and read some of these policies?
Well, the Consumer Protection Agency has called on DSTV and GoTV subscribers to switch off their subscriptions in protest of the exorbitant prices being charged by MultiChoice. According to CPA, managers of the firm are shortchanging subscribers with their outrageous prices, which are not giving value for money. Speaking at a news conference in Accra, the Chief Executive Officer of the Consumer Protection Agency, Kofi Kapito, called on subscribers to take the bold step in putting off their subscriptions. Sorry, we couldn't bring you that particular sound, but that's how we wrap up business update for today, and that's how we conclude the AM News. Up next is AM Sports. All right, so welcome again to the AM show. A reminder that the AM show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited, and Syntex tanks. Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Now, do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water storage, and that's something that all of you can attest to. It is strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call us today on 0244-335168, 0244-335168 to buy now, or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. Well, let's get into our news review segment. We're being joined by Dr. Joshua Zaato, who is a political scientist and a policy analyst. Mr. Afilmoni is former President GJA. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
I trust all is well.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to carry your protest on air, but we deal with it off air. We deal with your protest off air.
Either way.
What I'll do is that I'll let her come and sit in front of you so you can.
That'll be good.
Anyway, we're also expecting to be joined by Dr. Fred Agbayon, who is MP for Guan. So when he comes in, would introduce him to you. But as we do always, we'll give you 2 minutes each maximum to give us your reflections. I'll start from you, Mr. Afilmoni.
My take is on the potential threat to our democracy elected MP by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God he has come out to dispel
exactly
all the speculations, all the rumors, all the whispers about any move on his part or his party to extend his stay in office. Third termism or any form of tenure elongation has the tendency to plunge nations into untenable conflicts, intractable wars, brutal coup d'etat, and endless civil wars. The examples are copious. So this should serve as a blazing beacon, warning us against any attempt to extend the tenure of any president after his term is due.
Okay.
The opposition party, the MPP in particular, has been very strident in dealing with this allegation and throwing poisoned darts against the president for making such an attempt. And we've heard from certain circles, certain chieftaincy circles, for a kind of engineering to our constitution to allow the president to go for a third term. And thank God all this has been put to rest. And as a nation, we need to focus on how to consolidate our democracy, expand our economy, to address the basic needs of Ghanaians. And in dispelling the rumors, President Mahama said his focus would be on economic discipline, fiscal discipline, and economic consolidation. No, it's that a democracy without a strong economic underpinning is skittish at best and useless at worst. So our focus should be on how to ensure that our economy is so strong as to produce jobs, produce accommodation. Many of those who are sleeping on streets, many of those who are shackled by the ability to sleep in distant places. So these are the issues we should draw our attention. These are issues we should sharpen our focus on, and not any bid by any power-hungry politician to stay in office more than he's allowed constitutionally to do so. So this is my take.
Okay, all right, Dr. Zaato.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me start by wishing a happy and glorious birthday to my son, Banyana Zaato. He turned 11 yesterday. Banyana, happy birthday to you. You know, I asked him what he wanted for his birthday. He gave me a list of storybooks to buy for him to read. I'm like, okay. That looks like something about that he was ready to read. So, thank you. Look, I want to talk about this week. There was a cacophony of noises we had. But one of the biggest things came from the chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asedi Nkotia, when he boldly declared that the whole concept of a state of emergency to fight galamsey not on the table. It doesn't support it. Now, Honorable Johnson Asedi Nkotia doesn't just talk. When he's talking, he talks for the NDC boldly. When he's talking, he talks for the policymakers. That speech was serious because, one, in fact, we were just mourning these gallant 8 heroes who died in the helicopter crash, going to what? Fight galamsey, going to look for solutions to end galamsey. And then we were told that let's do something to honor them. The people even said, let's ban galamsey, or let's ban all surface mining for a year in their honor. People saying that for their sake and for their memory, let's delay it or let's completely expunge the allies supporting the mining, and then also what? Declare a state of emergency. These were voices. They seem to be a consensus, a convergence of ideas after the death of these people that this is the best thing we can do for their memory, so that their deaths are not seen to be in vain. Only for the national chairman of the NDC to come and just pour cold water on it. Now, that doesn't disappoint me. He's a politician. That's what he wanted. But there were journalists all over this country who advocated for us to what? Declare state of emergency and expunge it. I didn't hear an uprising from them. There were unions. And in fact, there was labor union, the whole of labor, who stood up and said, no, we have to do this, threaten a nationwide strike to close down the whole country. And they made 2 demands: declare state of emergency and also what? Remove the airline. I've not heard anything from labor unions, from National Labor. My own union, UTAC, we went on strike because of this. National union leaders and local union leaders told us that galamsey was an existential crisis. Almost a month, or no, there were 2 weeks to examinations, we closed down the universities. Students in the University of Ghana had to sit there doing nothing, waiting the academic calendar, thrown into tatters because we held politicians hostage almost 2 months or 3 months to an election because of galamsey. We did this, and we even made the politicians to sign a pledge. The pledge saying that they promised to do, among other things, expunge the LI and also declare a state of emergency. Today, UTAC is quiet. Today, labor unions is quiet. Even though the national chairman of the NDC is telling us that they are not going to do that. If you were a union leader, and if yesterday you stood firmly for us to declare a state of emergency, but today you have shifted your position, shame on you. Bow your head in shame. If you were a journalist, if you were a civil society organization, and yesterday you advocated strongly for us to declare a state of emergency, but today you've kept quiet, shame on you. Bow your head in shame. And I'm going to say this. If the NDC's noise about galamsey is what made you to vote for them, you have been used by someone to get a job. It's time we are serious. It's time we go back to the basics. This idea of politicians deceiving us, telling lies, promising one thing when they were in a position, then to come into power, and then they refuse us is what makes us think that, or what people think that all politicians are liars. Galamsey is an existential crisis.
But why do you think that people took their decision against galamsey based on politicians?
Because, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Look, before the elections, we saw something, and we are all here. Almost every journalist or media journalist had a gallon of galamsey water on their table. Am I right? You saw it. Especially 4 months or 5 months to election. Almost every journalist that sat in front of a camera had a gallon of galamsey water, some of them marked by the rivers as a form of telling people what it is. Today, all the gallons and bottles of water have vanished.
No, I'm not sure it was almost every day. It was specific reporters who were chasing the story, who brought it.
That's what I said, almost. That, again, I agree. No, I agree. I'm not saying all. I'm saying almost. A good number of them. I saw them. Our viewers saw them. We saw them. They were there. What happened? Almost now, all of a sudden, or not even.
But we have not stopped fighting. I'm always telling the story.
I'm not saying a fight. I'm telling you about one particular story. I'm telling you that the story of what making it live. The story of putting the Galamsey water there, because the visuals were powerful. The visuals made people see. They're like, oh my God, we can't believe that water is like this. All of a sudden, they've all disappeared. Those journalists, when they have the rivers changed to white, have the rivers changed to their natural color?
And I'm saying those journalists are still fighting.
Thank you. They are fighting a different way. I agree. Yes. One of them is Erastus Asare-Danko. He's in the house. He's a national hero. Look, when the former president was living, and he gave the national awards. I think that was the most deserving awards of all to give it to that man. He's still fighting. But I'm saying that some people have become complicit. Some people have become conveniently quiet. Some people have let this go. Meanwhile, is this still an existential crisis? Will it still kill us? The medical community and research is telling us that cancers and other things are still happening. We are not winning this war. Erastus Asare-Danko is somewhere in this house. He's telling us we are not winning this. We just saw the national organizer of the NDC at Equatia, again, telling everybody that nothing is going to happen. We saw him, we heard him. He said that, yes, Joseph Yamin, saying that the task force is extracting money from miners. It's only extra, but it's not being
I've not seen it.
I've seen it.
Hold on. I've not seen it one. He's also not here to defend himself. So
okay. I'll move on. Yeah. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is this. You were against Galamsey yesterday. That's good. That's patriotic. Today, let's see that. Let's see the noise. Today, let's hold policymakers accountable. Today, let's say that the same vigor, the same vim, the same reason we used to fight Galamsey, let's do it. And that everybody, all the unions, all the labor unions, all the civil society organizations, some of them are still fighting, and I commend them, thank them. Let's still go back to the basics and make sure that we hold these government's feet to the fire, just like we did with the previous government. Because if we don't do that, we will have betrayed generations unborn. If we don't do that, if we don't deal a decisive blow to Galamsey, these are our gallant 8 heroes who died on their way to do it, might have died for no reason. So let's do it. Let's honor them. Let's declare state of emergency. Let's repeal the law, and let's make sure that we go back to the basics to reclaim our rivers and to reclaim our forests. It is the least we can do.
Okay, Dr. Joshua Zaato there. This is the news review segment of the AM show. There are a lot of issues that we'll be discussing now. I have the Daily Graphic newspaper. On the front page, it says, Graphic Grader Home Fair at Accra Mall today. I will not contest 2028 election. My focus on fiscal discipline, President Mahama, and that's what Mr. Phil Money talked about earlier. SHS placement out September 17, Education Ministry. NPP flag bearer race candidate Japan Brian Achampon submit nomination forms. Special supplement on housing. What do you have, Dr. Zaato?
I have the Daily Guide is saying that Gold Board rules license miners with yet intended to. And a bonus. Okay. Equatorial by-elections. MPP unhappy with security. Bank of Ghana bans dollar pricing for services. Brian Achampon files Mahama rules out third term. Those are the headlines on the Daily Graph, on the Daily Guide.
Okay. Mr. Money.
Daily Democrats. You can't trade in dollars. BOG wants. Dr. Fusampofo calls for partnership in ICT growth. Gold Board rewards licensed miners. NPA trains tanker drivers on downstream compliance. Dr. Kevo champions Ghana as digital trade hub. And Education Ministry assures transparency in BEC placements.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that is what it is. Now, there's also this story here. And that's a warning by the MPP. Says we'll deal with soldiers who meddle in Equatorial by-election as thugs. The MPP sounding that, warning. But let me go on to, okay, so let's deal with the President Mahama declaring that he won't contest in the election. Says President John Dramani Mahama has said he will not contest the 2028 election because per the 1992 Constitution, his mandate will end on January 7, 2029. Quote, I will not be a candidate in the next election, and therefore I can hold the line when it comes to fiscal discipline, unquote. He said, in line with that, the president has pledged to enforce strict fiscal discipline in the lead up to the 2028 general elections, citing his constitutional ineligibility to run for another term as a key factor in ensuring economic stability. His reassuring comment sought to counter claims by some opposition MPP members that he harbored ambitions for a third term, a move that would be unconstitutional under the country's two-term presidential limit. Dr. Zaato, this must be reassuring to you.
No. It was never in doubt. I never doubted the fact that His Excellency would do this. Look, you must understand one thing. Say whatever you like. President Mahama is probably one of the most experienced politicians to ever become president of Ghana. If you say somebody was prepared for it, somebody was trained for it, you will say that he was the one. He's gone through the whole meal, he understands this. And the guy realizes, look, I'm sure when he sits back and he looks around and he sees President Kufuor, and former President Kufuor, he's like, listen, I want this. Because they all the council, he wanted. He doesn't want it. No. President Mahama will not. And I can say this without any equivocation. Want to do anything to destroy the democracy that he has been part of for this long. He doesn't want to do it. He won't do that. So yes, this.
So what then influenced some of the people and your colleagues who were predicting that Mahama wanted to run?
Listen, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you should always be suspicious of politicians with so much power. You should always be. Because that's something. The NDC has so much power. Executive control, full legislative control to make and change laws, and also, a takeover or full control of the judiciary. So when somebody or when one party has all this power, it becomes legitimate to begin to raise some of these questions. Again, it's possible that there were some hawks or some people in his administration who may want to whisper this into his ears. We don't know. So it's always possible, it's always nice, it's always good that we keep reminding politicians about the limits of their power. So for me, that was not in change. I want to believe that the president will do what he has said to do. Because there's something that I always look at, and we can all look at this. All ministers of finance in their first 2 years, they do very well, especially when the new government comes. They do the hard work, they are prudent, they spend well, they don't spend well. They do everything to make sure that the budget stays nice. But you watch, almost, by the time you get to the last quarter of the third year and the fourth year, everything is thrown out because the campaign starts and because incumbents want to win. So the prudence is thrown out of the place, we spend better. So I've always said this, first, second years are not the time to actually judge how good a Minister of Finance is. Judge a Minister of Finance by what he does or doesn't do in an election year, or president election year. And what he says ties into here. The president is saying that, look, because I am not going for a third term, I can ensure that my finance minister stays within the limits. I can ensure that my finance minister becomes prudent. I can ensure that the sacrifices that we are making, the sacrifices that Ghanaian people are making, are not flushed down the drain just because of somebody's presidential ambitions. So again, that is noble because he will know. He has been the president before and he has seen how these things work. My point is that will his party support him? Because that is also the problem. If you are not the one on the ballot, and it's Mr. Afel Money who is on the ballot, will Mr. Afel Money support your stringent budgetary decisions? Will Mr. Afel Money, in this case, if you are running for president, I'll vote for you. Will he do that? So that becomes the other thing. And secondly, will the party support that? Will the party see that, hey, listen, we are not paying contractors, we are not spending, we are not doing this, we are not doing this? Will the party then support a president who is not running to be prudent, to manage better? So,
but he's the president, not a party.
No, I'm talking about, you see, power is transcendent, and in politics, power is some way. The day the NDC opens their nominations to file for presidential primaries, and the day somebody's come, power is usually seen to have moved. I'm not saying it has moved. It's seen to have moved to the next guy. Almost everybody is now looking up to the guy that's likely to come. All the party structures, everybody is now looking to him or her for favors. During that time, the Americans have a term for it, it's called a lame duck president. The president becomes a lame duck. Now, when you are a lame duck president, can you still hold your party accountable? Can you still tell the president, I want to do this? When you are a lame duck president, can you still hold your finance minister? Because if the party comes to you and say, look, we are picking signals that because of your fiscal prudence, because of this, we are losing the election, can you still hold it? I'm saying that those become serious challenges going forward. But of course, it's not unsurmountable, it's surmountable, it can be done, it should be done, we should insist that it's done. But that is so, I'm happy that this is going on, but still, let's not trust politicians. Let's still keep emphasizing this and making sure that we run into the head of everybody that absolute power corrupts.
So you are okay with the president declaring that he won't contest, but you are worried whether or not he'll be able to keep the promise of ensuring that fiscal discipline.
Exactly. That particular one becomes difficult. That particular one we will live to see. Because if you honestly, and you know this, just look at all finance ministers. The worst part happened in election year. The worst part. They can keep all the books clean until election year.
Okay, all right. Mr. Money, from where you sit, you have already said that the president has really, sort of put those matters to rest by declaring that he won't run. But do you have confidence that, yes, this is a man on a mission, this is a man who wants to leave a lasting legacy and therefore would go by his words to say, I would ensure fiscal discipline even in an election year?
In the first place, Kojo, it is not within the bounds of possibility for any sitting government to extend his rule. It is not. Our system will definitely not allow it.
Really?
Yes.
Why do you think so?
Because Ghanaians are awake. Ghanaians know their democratic rights. And you can try Ghanaians to rise to the occasion. We've done it before. We still, some of us who are old have a massive memory of what happened to Achampong. Achampong started well, Christian feed himself. He did fed the nation to the extent that we had surplus to export. But along the line, this same power elongation, driven by power intoxication, lured him to float this idea of union government.
Okay.
It did not work. Why? Because we had men of fortitude who stood up against him. And that spells his demise, politically and physically. So history is a guide, and history should guide us not to attempt to lure any president to extend his rule against the Constitution.
Okay.
The Constitution is so clear, written in black and white, that the president should serve 2 terms of 4 years each. After that, you bow out, mind your own business, as before and others are doing. So nobody, under no circumstance, should anybody dream of tampering with the Constitution, doing any constitutional engineering, either through a referendum or whatsoever, for anybody to stay in power beyond what is constitutionally mandated. Otherwise, it will spell the doom of this country. Otherwise, Ghana, our democracy will be intact. Our democracy will be consigned to the dustbin of history. And nobody can tell what the consequences will be. The media, you can charge the media. We can wage this war, effortlessly. Civil society will back us. Opposition parties will join forces with us. It will not happen, and it should not happen. So we should not, we dare not, we cannot, we should not dream of even extending anybody's term in office.
But aside that, when the president says, because I'm not running, I can protect the public purse, especially during the election period, does that give you confidence that that can be done? Does that have to believe that, well, that cannot be done because when your party is losing because of your fiscal discipline, you have to help the party and then you lose guard?
Again, we can follow history to tell us what can happen. And our history is related with all manner of fiscal indiscipline during election year, as Dr. Zaato has said. And so ours is to match his promise against action. And action speaks louder than words. And we understand politicians, sometimes, you have to dance to the tune of all kinds of, and sometimes certain realities will force you to change, your plans or other. But, and we live in a country where needs are legion, and our resources cannot match our needs. And as a politician, your first mantra, your first goal is winning power. So the mantra is seeking first political power. No other shall be added on to it. So in seeking power, we might be tempted to be indisciplined in terms of run your economy. And this can also trigger all kinds of problems. So let's see, it's a wait and see, we are in a wait and see mood. Let's see whether the president can match his promise with action. But for once, we'll consign to the dustbin this history of fiscal indiscipline. Okay,
all right. I'm happy to now bring in Dr. Fred Agbayo. He is a member of Parliament for Guan constituency. Good morning to you and thanks for coming in.
Oh, but I'm not yet a doctor. I'm here to defend my thesis.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't want G-Tech to come after you.
I don't want anybody to come after Okay. I'm waiting to defend my thesis, please.
Okay, so let me mark it. G-Tech, please. He says.
I want to have my peace and sleep in my room.
Okay, that is fine. You just came in. I don't want you to go on to this particular matter, but what we do, we give our guests 2 minutes to tell us what, aside what the papers are reporting, what they think they want Ghanaians to know about, and then you can come into this discussion.
What they want Ghanaians to know? Okay, thank you very much.
If you have any issue.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the good people of the Republic of SAR, Sandro Viakpoflo Lobby and Likpe. And let me also say good morning to the former president. I haven't seen in a long while.
Yeah, I'm around.
Doc.
Hey, boss.
When you come on the platform, declare that you're MPP straight away. Good to see you. Yes. You Well, sorry I have to come in quite late. It's difficult to join a conversation when people have spoken before you came in. I don't know what they have said, and I'm going to rebut most of the times. But the doctor might have said is the one I'm scared of. As for Doc, I know he thinks Ghana.
I'm Hamlet, thank you.
As for him, he thinks Ghana. So, I don't know. The president's
assurance that he won't run for a third term.
That he won't run for a third term. First of all, I don't even know where that particular conversation came from. I don't know who initiated that particular conversation. We have done it before as a country. If you check the 1992 Constitution, it is very explicit as to the number of years a president can be in office. And even President George Rawlings, who from his background as a military person from the days of the coups and the rest, people thought that in 2000 he was not going to hand over power. He did that very peacefully. He respected the Constitution. And when the time was up for him to leave the scene, he left. President Kufuor came, he left the scene. In spite of all the things that they planned, those of you followed that election very closely, all the meetings and all the things that they did, he stood his ground and insisted that the will of the people of this country must be respected, for which even the third-round elections in time, they had to boycott along the line. Because those were the days and people were planning that they go and take bodies and go and put them in voter ID and create the impression that they were killing their people in the region to create fear and panic. I remember
who made those.
You have forgotten that he was the president. I'm sure he was the.
Yeah, no, I remember. But you are saying that some people planned.
Oh yeah. All these issues came up. In fact, there was even a meeting. They even wanted to get the Supreme Court, to enhance even the election, attach Jans and the rest. They met on a Sunday. They wanted to do that. It was President Kufuor at the time who said, "We can't do otherwise. We need to do the right. We need to respect the Constitution." And that is how they got angry when they met in Kumasi on their way to time. They fought in a hotel and then they all decided to come back to Accra and come and have their peace of mind. Yeah, the point I'm making is that eventually we crossed that particular bridge. Professor Mills came in. By God's own arrangement, they couldn't finish even his first term. President Mahama came, completed, won the next elections, lost, came back, win the elections. And so from where we sit, unless we do something about our Constitution, there's no way any president can say that for me, I want to run a third term or a fourth term like we are seeing in other parts of the world. I don't think it happens in Ghana now. Ghanaians will not permit anything like that. But this is a conversation I wish that we look at it dispassionately. We should open it up. Let's look at it. We have tried this since 1993 up until now. Are we satisfied with the tenure of office of the president? Is it the best for this country? Is it something we can do something about? I'm aware that the Constitutional Review Commission is meeting now. They are doing some work already. Is it the case that we can make some proposals to them that they should look at the Constitution again? Now, if you go to advanced democracies, i.e. America and the rest, whether the president is there or not, the system is working. The institutions are working. And so, you, as the president, you are more ceremonial, you can't eviction, that will be run by the system. But the same cannot be said of our country. And so I am not too sure, from where I sit as a political person, you come into office, by the time you even finish putting your, forming your government, i.e. your ministers, your chief executives, your boards, and what have you, if you don't take time, 1 year it will take you to do that. As we speak right now, you know we have not finished appointments. You know, President Mahama is on record to be the fastest to have constitute this cabinet. But beyond that, we have a number of appointments that we need to do. We have not finished up till now. Now, next year, internal elections are started. We are doing our branch elections, we are doing our constituency elections, we are doing regional elections. That will end up with national and the election of a flag bearer. And so that tends to take more attention from government. Now, if you want to do a major project, you want to build an Eastern Corridor Road from Tema all the way to Paga. That is not a project you can do within 2 years. That's a project that can take you 3 to 4 years, even more. Now, you'll be going for an election. You need to be able to showcase what you have done. You need to be able to tell the people of this country that when you give me the mandate, based on the promise I've made to you, this is the work I've done. That is what is going to determine whether they're going to renew, whether or not they're going to renew your mandate or not. And so what we have seen over the years is that government tends to do things that short fix. Let's do something we can show for. So you see us hurriedly fixing roads in the night. The roads will barely last for 6 months. We'll come back to zero. In the night, we are fixing water, we are fixing light. We don't take time to do the things well. Because all we are planning to do, let's showcase results. Let's tell the people that we have done something. And for me, from where I sit, I don't think health is good for our country. And so, yes, presidents don't have enough time to plan well, to do the things that will really help our country. My view, if you ask me candidly, if you want to keep 2 terms for the president, I think that the number of years per term, we can have a conversation around.
How many years do you think will be enough?
You see, again, it's a very difficult situation. For instance, if you have a president like the one we just witnessed, a few years ago, led by President Akufo-Addo, would you candidly want to allow him to stay in office longer than he did? You understand? No I know you don't. I know you don't comment.
Just give me a room to hang himself.
Allow him to stay in office longer than the 4 years. That is where the problem is. And so sometimes in discussing this issue, it becomes very difficult.
All right, but that's not the problem. I said Mr. APC president, which is like
I've not said that. I've not said that. Now, if you get a president that is doing well, that all can attest to that, oh no, at least we can see evidence of his work. Something is going on, there's a change, Ghanaians want to see more of it. But if you have a president where we don't have any direction, we don't even know where we are heading, are we going forward, are we going back, are we left or right, we are just roaming in circles and all that, you want him to exit power even before the election day.
So back to my question, how many years do you think will be?
I'm saying that it is
the starting point.
It's a very difficult issue for me to say. I wouldn't mind if I get even 5 years, with the hope that at least you have 1 year to put your government in place, put your government together and all that, make sure that all the institutions are set, everything is working. Then you have 3 years to govern. Okay, 3 years to govern. Then the 4th year, you are preparing for the next elections. I think it will be held. If you go to a place like Liberia and the rest, they are doing 6 years, right? 6 years, 2 terms. So the president has at least 12 years. If there's anything you want to do under the sun, 10 years is good time enough, a good time for you to be able to showcase what you can do. Some of us who are in office now just came into office for 7 years, and you go to our constituencies and the rest, and so people make it look as though you have been in office for 1 year or 2 years. Suddenly they want you to fix all the problems. Well, yes, again, development is a process. Development is not an event. It's not something that can start today and finish today. And so I thank President Mahama for the assurance. At least he has put to rest all this issue that because we have huge numbers in parliament, we may do something, we may call for a referendum because an entrenched position in the constitution and ask for him to go for a 3rd term and all that. He has settled the issue. that is not running for a third term, he will exit as provided for by the Constitution when his term is over. I am proposing that we need a broader conversation around this subject.
Okay.
We need to do it dispassionately. Let's assess President Mahama's term of office well and see could he have done better if he had more time. Let's look at President Kufuor. Let's look at all the other presidents, and then we can decide. But again, in having that conversation, we need to be very careful. That the person who comes to the office is someone we can trust, that it can deliver indeed.
But if you are giving the number of years, you give it on the same place.
That is where the challenge is now. Because you cannot say this man because he's a bad person. You see, maybe what we can do, we can do even the 5 years. We can do 6 years. We can hold it. We can do 7 years. But then you make it easy for us to impeach the president if he's not performing. Do you understand? You put provision this in to make it, if you have to start anything like that, you can't start today and finish. So we can have the constitution that's we from maybe the next 2 elections, the next one will be 2028, the next one will be 2032.
Yeah.
So we can say, for instance, that from 2032, the term of president will be so and so years. So that the president that will implement it will not necessarily be a beneficiary of it. That way, I'm sure Ghanaians will come on board and accept it to
I'll just give you a minute.
Ghanaians will not come on board, and I'm praying that no politician who is aspiring to president listens to you and takes your advice. They should understand.
But I don't know if I'm also aspiring.
Even you, don't think about it, because look, the more you open slippery road, politicians are good at taking advantage of even small windows or small corridors. You understand? No. Before you come to power, it's this thing. Before you get admission to the University of Ghana to do a 4-year degree, you know it's 4 years degree. You know when you're supposed to exit, right?
Yeah.
It's not as if you just went inside there and by your 10th you're like, no, you know. So you are running for power, you were campaigning for power, and you know it's 4 years. So you know everything. You put out a manifesto. Again, it's a 4-year manifesto. You come inside the day you are sworn in, you know that you are not guaranteed another 4 years. And we've seen people have done it. We've seen countries that have fixed their system and it has not been a problem. So the problem is not longevity. The problem is not how long you stay in office. That is not the problem at all. The problem is that we come into office and we are saying, look, so far, why hasn't the president finished his appointments? Why? It's especially those that do not even need, constitutional parliamentary review. Council of State, why has he not appointed them? How do you blame the 4-year system for that? Look, it's possible. There's a transition period. The president and president have done it. This president has appointed almost all his people in the transition period. So my point is that just because you can't do it, we shouldn't be rewarding inefficiencies or inactions of presidents, or we shouldn't even contemplate it. Look, it's 4 years. You knew that before coming in. If you cannot do it, the people of Ghana get to pass a judgment on you, and then you leave. That's all. Because any attempt to do that.
All right. Let's delve into the NPP matters. Yesterday, Ken Ejapon.
You know that students can fail.
Exactly.
You know that
then they punish you.
Receipts.
Then you are punished.
That is why even at a PhD level, they don't say it's 3 years. You have between 3 to 5 years to finish your PhD. So there's nothing wrong with extending the time at all.
Let's start from the Akwatia, because the New Patriotic Party has issued a stern warning ahead of the upcoming Akwatia by-election, vowing to treat any military interference in the electoral process as thuggery. Addressing journalists in Accra on Wednesday, the party's Director of Communications, Richard Aheba, accused the National Democratic Congress of plotting to use national security operatives to intimidate voters and disrupt the election. According to Aheba, the NPP has received credible intelligence indicating that the NDC plans to, quote, hide behind the guise of national security to terrorize some residents and voters in Akwatia, unquote. Mr. Moni, I mean, how do we ensure that we go into Akwatia and not repeat the old story about Akwatia itself in terms of by-election?
This French lawyer of antiquity, Michel Montaigne, said, and I quote, "I learn little from good examples, but more from bad examples, which serve as daily lessons. And learn later from good examples, but more from bad examples. Which serve as daily lessons. So the bad example at Ablekman North serve as a fountain of lessons from which the government, all the political parties, security agencies, intelligence committee should drink and drink copiously. We saw it coming. It was boldly written on the wall, but it happened. Security breaches of monumental proportions happened. People were beaten like animals. The question is, where was our intelligence system? We didn't need any Sherlock to predict that it was going to be nasty at Ablekman North, and it did happen. Let's put it aside and then learn from that. IGP has deployed his men in Abuja, but given the prognosis, given the predictability, given the inevitability of violence there, I think IGP should not only deploy, they should pour security men and women to ensure that there's no specter of violence there. Already, our democracy is bleeding. Our image as a beacon of democratic accomplishment in Africa is in tatters. The latest democracy index rankings also point to a slippery slope, point to a downward trajectory in democracy. All this should serve as a resolve for us to prevent violence in any form or shape to happen in Akutia. We'll give the IGP the benefit of the doubt and the security and intelligence community. Please, nothing should be left to chance. Nothing at all. Nobody is above the law, whether MPP or NDC. Anyone who falls foul of the law should be made to taste the biting edge of the law.
Okay.
I expect the security agencies to be strict, firm, ruthless, but not intimidating. Make sure that nobody breaches the law in any form. The people should vote in security and choose the one who, in their wisdom, can best represent their interests in Parliament.
Okay.
So it's said our democracy is on test. Our security preparedness to nip in the bud any form of violence or tendency to cause mayhem in Abuja.
Okay. All right.
Or on the line. We cannot, we should not fail, otherwise the consequences just be incalculable.
Okay. All right then. Dr. Zaato, I mean, per our agreed practice, when it comes to policing during elections, whose responsibility is it? The police or the military? Because the MPP says we will fight against any military interference.
It's the responsibility of the state. And the state's security architecture or structure then determines what to do. But because it is a totally domestic civilian activity, you want to believe that it is solely that of the
police. Okay.
Electoral violence happens in Ghana not because of the absence of the police. It happens in spite of the presence of police. So the presence of the police, even if you deploy 1 million police, might be necessary, but it's not sufficient to ensure safety and security during elections. Police might be necessary, but it's not sufficient to ensure that there's peaceful elections. In Ayawaso West, when the police was there, the security was there. They were there when Honorable Sam John was assaulted. They were there. So it's not that they were not there. It's not that it happened in a secluded place in Ayawaso West Wuogon where, there was no police there, and some people went and cornered him somewhere and assaulted him. No, it happened where the police was there. The journalists that were beaten, they were beaten when the police was there. When Hawa Kumsum was knocked down when she fell, the police were standing just like literally there. It would take them less than 3 steps to go into rescue. They didn't go to her rescue. That's not true. When the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC guy was there, they chased him. We saw him running, and we saw a marauding group of thugs following him. There was no single police officer also running, following him to save him. We saw the guy run, he fell, they started beating him, the police was standing just there, where he was lying there, crying and bleeding. So it's not because the police is not there. When the journalists, your colleagues were being beaten, the police was there. It's not as if the police, they were there. Your colleagues, ask them. If you don't believe me, ask your colleagues, hey, when they were beating you, when they were slapping you, was the police there? They will tell the police was there. So again, you must understand these things, that the police is always there when this happens, not due to the absence of the police. 2, you must then understand that almost all the victims of by-election violence turn out to be what? Members of the opposition political parties. Sam George, when he was assaulted, he was not in government. He was a member of the NDC opposition party. 2, Hawa Kumsum is not in power. She was assaulted. The Deputy General Secretary of the MPP was assaulted, was not there. And then, of course, there are always those that are caught in the middle. In this case, journalists who are just doing their work. Why? How come almost all the victims of electoral or by-election violence are members not in power? 2, and how come that so far nobody, I've not seen that, maybe you may provide me with this, no member of the government or a ruling party has been assaulted during a by-election? How come? It's when you begin to look at these things, then you can see that, okay, then the idea of the intelligence that Mr. Efelman was talking about becomes important. The idea that, look, there is impunity. At the heart of it is impunity. That there are thugs there are people out there who know that, look, if I assault a member of the ruling party, ruling government, I'll go to jail, I'm not going home. But if I assault a member of the opposition, I'm going home, I'm going free. That if I assault a member of the press, I'm going home, I'm going free. It is that mentality that we need to fight against. It is that idea that we need, because, wait a minute, why is it that we are in a situation where there are by-elections, almost all the victims are members who are not in power, almost all the victims. It is that mentality, it is that idea of impunity that we need to fight. And unless and until we do that, unless and until we get that done, then we are not addressing this issue. So again, you can send the whole of the Ghana Armed Forces there, you can send the whole of the police service there. If this mentality, this idea that if we can get away with it, it's not respected, it will not be. So that is the problem. That is, for me, the biggest issue here. So you then, if you are then a member of the opposition and you are going to a by-elections, you have legitimate reasons to be worried. You have a legitimate reason not to take the assurances of the police administration very seriously, because again, there is a pattern here. The pattern has been the members that are assaulted are those that are not in government. So if I'm not in government, I'm going for by-elections, no assurance of the police should tell me that nothing will happen, because again, also remember, the police have always given these same assurance at every by-elections. So the giving of the assurance is not new. Almost every IGP, almost every police administration has given the same assurance. As for this by-election, we'll make sure that it's not violence-free. It becomes violent. As for this one, it will not be to be. Look at the distance from Ablekuma North to the police headquarters. Look at the distance from Ablekuma North to the Greater Accra Regional Police Command. Look at the distance. Look at the number of police officers there. But it happened. So my point is that if there is an opposition party saying that we do not trust your assurances, it is based on evidence. Evidence that opposition parties are almost always the victims.
But if you look at the National Election Security Task Force, it is made up of the police and other security agencies. So if the military forms part of the National Security Task Force, can they be part of those who will be overseeing this? I'm asking this because the MPP says we don't want them at Akwetia.
You see, in this country, we are overstretching and overusing. Sometimes that's what we do. They are perfect tools for perfect jobs, but we keep using the military. Look, there are massive killings going on in the Savannah region. Communities have been burned. People we hear about 10 or so people have been killed by bandits running around, which is send the military there. When you send a look, the military is intimidating. Soldiers are by nature intimidating. There's nobody who sees a soldier like, oh, yeah, see, how you do? They are intimidating. They are not trained. And I've heard it said soldiers are not trained to go and befriend little people. They are not trained to go and hold hands with two people fighting over a girl or two people fighting because somebody owes them money. They are not trained to go and be diplomatic. No, they are a killing machine. The army is a killing machine. They are trained to go out there, destroy the enemy, and come back. They are trained to go out there, use whatever force, use maximum force, destroy the enemy, come back home safely. That is the philosophy, that's the ideology of the army. So it is okay, it makes sense today and say, look, when you are deploying them to a civilian activity, wholly civilian activity, one, their main presence can be intimidating. So there are people who say, look, hey, because of this, I will not even go out to vote. Or because of this, I'm afraid that their soldiers say they may beat me. Because of this, they are going to. So it is also, again, legitimate for you to raise concerns that, look, like, hey, I came here. If there was a police officer standing in front of your gate, that's okay. Police do this and that. But you agree with me. If I came here and I saw a military man standing outside there with a gun, I may run back. Because it is not normal. That's not a normal thing. Military is not supposed to be the one providing security for such an installation, you understand? So if it is a purely civilian activity, if it is just for ordinary people to go and do the boring activity of voting and coming back home, and then you are going and you say that there are military men standing there with cocks, with their guns cocked, and I will run back home. So again, raising the idea that we are overstretching our army and that we are putting, and see, this is what always happens sometimes. Then the army goes there, and a civilian down or civilians do something stupid, they react like any army should, and then tomorrow we are blaming them. Tomorrow, like, okay, the army has molested civilians, have done this. Why are you using it in the first place? Look, within the police service, they have SWAT teams, don't they? The police have SWAT teams. The police have teams that can gadget up, can dress, and you yourself, you will say that, yeah, yes, but they are still police. Why don't we use them? Okay. Why don't we set up a special police SWAT? The police, they have anti-terror teams. They do. They have police officers, when they dress, they are almost dressed more, they look more menacing than a soldier does. Let's send them. If we don't have site teams, it is time for us to say, look, hey, every region will create a specialized police task force, arm them almost to the teeth, and give them the necessary so that they can go in place of the army. Okay. The more we keep pushing our army into civilian spaces, the more we are exposing on this. And then when something happens, we say, oh, let's now start getting into civilian rule. Okay. That's not what they are trained for. That's what we recruit them for. Okay.
All right, here. Mr. Boyo, I mean, how do we give assurances to everybody at Akotia that, look, this election, you are safe and secure to participate in the process?
Politicians only have solutions to issues when they're in opposition. The problem of this country is hypocrisy, sycophancy. We don't speak the truth. When you are in power, you wear different lenses. You see things differently. You speak about them differently. When you're in opposition, then the reality of issues now comes to you. Then you start backing and crying and screaming and shouting. And we are playing this football all these many years. And nobody wants to call a spade and make sure the right things are done. Suddenly, my brother has forgotten how they deployed the military in this country in the past 8 years. To the extent that even in Parliament, when we have an issue in Parliament, they bypassed the police, took the military over there that night. We also what happened. When in Techiman election, you deployed the military, they fired and killed civilians. And couldn't even prosecute one person. Suddenly you have forgotten. In Banda, what you did with the military. You see, Ghana is for all of us. We have chosen the path of multi-party democracy. What that means is that no political party will remain in power forever and ever. Whether you like it or not, you can perform magic, you can transform Ghana. It's a human nature. A day will come when you will show the exit. And that is why when you are planning and you are inventing policies and programs, you don't look at just today and yourself. Consider yourself today in power and tomorrow in opposition. Okay. And that should inform the kind of policies and programs and decisions that you make. A few months ago, the security was a friend of the NPP. They applauded them. They were the best that has happened to Ghana. And that time we in NDC, we saw everything wrong with them. Suddenly the tables have turned. They have become our friends. We will defend them. And now they are crying and screaming, issuing statements. We are not helping ourselves. I know a day is going to come when I'll come back to opposition. And so when the military, when they are doing something that is not right, we must be bold and courageous to say that what you are doing is wrong.
Okay.
It's not good for our democracy. When the police are not doing their work well, regardless of where I stand politically, I should be bold and confident to tell them that please, for the sake of our collective peace, do your work well. Just maybe, I want to agree with the school of thought who think that even the security leadership, the IGP and the rest, maybe should be appointed differently, or should be given a term of office, where they have the confidence and the courage to operate as an independent institution. We use them anyhow when we have the power. A young boy can pick a phone and call and give a command. Well, in this country, when we saw people wearing a police uniform and what have you, driving in police cars, the IGP didn't know who gave the cars to them. They know how they got the weapons they were using. Fermented troubles, you are forgotten so soon. For me, Ghana, the only thing we have going for us today is our name, our image in the international community. That when you come to sub-Saharan Africa, Ghana is a beacon of hope when it comes to democracy. And you know the way the international media operates. It's as if they're always looking around for the bad news. They are looking for the bad news. That's why they will highlight out there. And so any investor that's really thinking of coming to our country, that's why they will go and see. Oh, they are fighting. The country is not stable. If we go and put our money in there, one day they will create problems. And those of us who are in leadership, our level of hypocrisy sometimes is nauseating. We pretend as though we don't know all this that are happening. We pretend as though we are not behind these things. The macho boys and all that, we pretend we don't know. We do it. We are behind it. We are behind it. Can we speak the truth to ourselves? And stop coming to the media and look Mr. Nice, Madam Nice, and you go back and go and do the wrong thing? We are for a by-election. A colleague of us, hard-working gentleman, passed on. His name remains as still living in the morgue. We are going to have a by-election. Can't we have a solemn, nice, beautiful by-election in remembrance of his memory? Must other people die?
So how must we do that?
In advanced jurisdictions, they are having elections without even agents standing there. They are having elections and declaring results without the police, without the military. Sometimes it's students who conduct elections. Have we not come to that point where we can do things differently? And that when we give people a position of responsibility, they must look beyond their political parties, the way we appointed them, and be nationalistic a bit and think about Ghana. Must we fight at every... Go and check the history of by-elections in this country. It has always been acrimonious. Check the history.
That's why I want to find out, how do we put an end to that particular
We must stop the hypocrisy and the pretense and the lies and confront the issue head on. And we must take responsibility. Leadership of political parties. We must take responsibility. Don't say one thing for one part of your mouth and do another thing, or say another part of your mouth. The only time we tend to know that the truth and say the right thing is when we are in opposition. When we are in power, everything is okay. You know the things some of us escaped in all these elections. We have to run for our lives in the presence of the police. Why? Why? As I'm here right now, you are even scared if you want to go to Akwetia or not to go. What is going to happen? Per the police report earlier, they've confiscated some weapons, some guns, and what have you from some people. As to if those people brought those things there because of the by-election, or is it Galamseyers that were holding those things?
That announcement was...
You understand? It just came, passed through, and it ended there. Because by now, you should be able to know if indeed the people brought those things in there because of the elections. Or that...
Honorable, that particular announcement, I didn't make the head and tail of it. These were people who were carrying guns, and they had permits to carry the guns. You met them, and they told you, these are our guns, these are our permits, legitimate. They are carrying them going. My point, so I don't know why the police said the people were arrested. First of all, why are you arresting people if you gave them the permit, the license to carry their guns, and they are carrying them? They were not smuggling them. They were not. So sometimes that's, you see, you do this and you raise unnecessary tensions. You make it like there's violence. No, you gave me a license to carry a gun. You've seen the gun with me, and you asked me. I stopped. I said, "This is my gun." Okay. Do you have a license? Yeah, this is my license. So the state has given me permission to carry that gun. So why are you arresting me?
Okay.
That is an issue that is really worth interrogating.
Hey, why are you arresting
Just maybe I carry a gun because I have a license to do so.
Yes.
And the police granted me that license after they have checked my background and everything.
Yes.
How do you now come and arrest me on the street when you see me with the same gun? But when you are given a gun, there are restrictions. Not every place you can take a gun to.
Yeah.
For instance,
that point should be made clear.
That's right. It's not every place. If you want to have to take a gun to certain places, you need to declare.
I'm not carry a gun in Equatia.
That's why the public education is key on these issues. When you go and check the electoral laws, there are provisions that prohibits people from carrying offensive weapons to election areas.
Okay.
And offensive weapons includes guns.
Okay.
There was no election on that.
No, let me just land. You see, once the Electoral Commission has declared a place as a campaign zone, and knowing our history, it would have been prudent. If I'm going to that place today, maybe I have a licensed gun.
But you won't take it.
I won't take you to the place.
The police announced that.
Because, you see, we need to do more of public education. You understand? If I have a registered gun, please give me a permit. It doesn't matter if I'm coming to your studio this morning, I should be carrying my gun here with me. I should be able to leave the gun in my car and come here. No, you see.
Why would you want to bring your gun here?
The point I'm making is, you see, sometimes.
Dog, if you allow me to land, maybe you allow me to land.
Okay, wait.
I am saying that I wish I could speak the truth very well. Your idea they've given you license. When you are going to church or the auditorium, do you carry your gun to the church? If you are going to the presidency, even if you have a licensed gun, the security at the gate will not allow you to carry your gun to the place. Your mobile phone is your phone. You have registered it in your name. It's your course. You will not enter some offices with your mobile phone. They will take it away from you.
But are we saying that because the place we're going to have a by-election there, if I live in Akotia and I have a license, then I'm going to carry it with me? Is that what we're saying?
You see, listen, look at our Kumsin issue.
Yeah.
I can carry pepper spray in my car, in my back any day. If I'm going for a by-election, knowing your history, even as our Kumsin, what you are alleged to have done in your constituency. If you are seeing pepper spray, not just saying, by using it on people, you invite Jack Norrish, what is the name of those you invite them on yourself. Because the next moment, maybe they are scared that you pull a gun. You have brought a pepper spray. What are you going to put for your bag?
I can't.
So let me
just trivialize.
Please let me.
You just did that.
When you did yours, I didn't say anything.
I don't know. You just trivialized.
I didn't trivialize anything. I just said the truth.
You did.
But dog, you are gagging me now. Now you want to determine what I say on set. When you were speaking, I kept quiet. Please, will you allow me my time? I am saying that yes, you may have a registered gun. Police granted you that permit. You have the license and everything. But it is not every place that you can carry that gun to. My expectation, after the police have done the arrest, was for them to have come out to do public education. You understand? Because many of us don't know that even though we have the permit to carry the weapon, we are not permitted to carry it to some places. Okay. Even if you have to carry it there, we need to disclose. So the police then can decide to either collect and keep it in safe custody for you, or they allow you to go in there with it. And I am saying that if you check the history of our by-elections, it has always been characterized with what? Violence.
Yeah.
And so nobody will allow you to carry an offensive weapon to such area, more so when our electoral laws are very explicit that you cannot do same.
Now let me ask you. Okay, Mr. Bani, you want to make
on the issue of public education, I think it should go in tandem with the strictest security measures.
Okay.
And I doubt if enough has been done in terms of public education. NCC, we all know, is chronically under-resourced. And I doubt if they had the means to go to Akwetia to educate the people on what they can do, what they cannot do, to educate the people on their democratic rights and limitations. Because pouring security men to Akwetia is not the only solution to prevent only solution against violence. You should always go in tandem with public education.
Okay.
So public education is of crucial importance, and it can hardly be articulated.
Mr. Boyo, your Deputy General Secretary, Mr. Mugbande, has said that they will aid the security forces to arrest anyone who is being looked for the commission of for activities that they are being wanted for by the state in Akwetia. I mean, wouldn't that be a recipe for chaos if people should say, I'm going to resist your attempt to arrest me in Akwetia, a by-election area?
You see, Ghana is governed by law. You cannot resist police arrest.
That is true. In a real sense.
In a real sense.
Yes.
You cannot. That in itself is a violation of the law.
Yes.
Once the police has a permit, a court order, or he has a reasonable, to suspect, sometimes even your personal interest, that you are arrested and taken out of a particular area, the police will do so. What we need to do, maybe, I'm not too sure, what my Deputy General Secretary want to communicate is that as a political party, don't go and engage in wrongdoing and run and come and say, because I'm an NDC member, we should protect you, we should hide you.
His words were
if you go
he said he was sending warning to the MPP that if you are a member of the party or the former government, that you are being wanted for actions of yours in the past government, don't come to Akwetia, because if you come, they will help the state to arrest you.
Well, I am not too sure. That was a very emphatic statement.
Oh, no, he repeated saying what to me. Yes.
I'm not too sure because why? I don't think government, the police as of now have not issued a statement that they are looking for anybody. The fellow has disappeared. Perhaps with the exception of the former finance minister, Ken Oforiatta, who is on the wanted list. I'm not too sure of anybody who is on the wanted list that we are looking for. Of course, if there's anybody on the wanted list who is hiding somewhere or decide to appear in Akwetia, why not? Every citizen should be able to report to the police that the person you are looking for is here, so please come and pick him up. That will not be out of place. But to the extent that there's no such report that I know of, that any former appointee as of now is being looked for by the police. And so therefore when the person appears there, you want to go and report them to come and arrest him. I don't know where this conversation is coming from. I didn't hear him. I didn't get the info. Oh, Dr. What's here? Oh, why, Harry? Why don't you throw your hands all over?
Conclude. He has the freedom to throw his hands. Doc has the freedom.
So the point I'm making is that I didn't hear him.
Okay.
The context in which those statements were made, I'm not privy. I don't know whether it was made on a lighter note. I don't know if it was a very serious statement that was made and all that. So I'm unable to go into it and to profess a position or to suggest a position on it. Okay. But the point I'm making is that every Ghanaian has a right to assist the police in the discharge of their duty, more so when the police demand same from us. No, you have the floor as well.
Yeah, that's
smart political communication. When it comes to your general secretary or deputy general secretary, you see no evil, you hear no evil,
say that.
acknowledge no evil.
Context
for this. No, I'm just saying, now who is it attack? It's very good, very convenient for you. And as I said, I see that. I see how you, this morning, and others have tried to trivialize the attack on Honorable Awa Komsu.
Oh, you want me to repeat?
Everybody that has seen a pepper spray carrying, it's a defensive thing. In fact, sometimes women, the police Even when they come to conduct training for women, it is
supposed to be
It's a Catholic.
Oh, you're a Catholic. You go to church. You go to the mass.
It is supposed, especially it's given to young women so that you can, if somebody's attacking you or trying to attempt to rape you or sexual assault you, you can use it to defend yourself. Sometimes, please give them out. They do that so that people can protect themselves, especially if you are walking in a place. If you are walking in a place you are walking in a place to protect yourself, and that is why a number of ladies have it in their handbags. Just so it's a protective tool. But it's glad you're doing it. I'm saying that I'm glad to hear you, an MP, trivializing a horrible, vicious, and deadly attack on the former MP. Because see, this is where the cowards outside there, this is where they pick their strength from. This is where the hooligans outside there pick their strength from. This is where the people outside there pick their strength. Like, okay, wait a minute. If tomorrow, you mentioned, and I'm happy you brought about that idea, if tomorrow power changes, then that hoodlum outside there thinks that, hey, maybe my government has come into power, then let me also go and do this. And that is the problem. When you sit down and you say that an attack on a woman who has just gone out there to either observe or to participate in an election, hit her, everybody, the whole world sees her, hit her, she fell. Look, when Hawa Kumsu fell, our democracy fell. When Hawa Kumsu fell, our collective conscience of people fell. When she got up, she gave us hope that we one day get up. And when she's telling us that you might fall today, you might fall tomorrow, but when you fall, don't lie there, get up. When you fall, get up, start moving. The point I'm making is she's shown her strength, dedication. Hawa Kumsu will not come out and see herself as a victim. She won't do that. She knows that you have budgeted for her. She knows that you have singled her out. But the point I'm making is that, look, this type of communication and this type of message, especially coming from a legislature, it fuels something out there. There's a theory called the lone wolf theory. I'm sure you've heard that. It's lone wolf or backing. What happens is that somebody sitting somewhere may take your words. I know what you are saying, and I will not twist your words or will not take your action. But there's probably somebody sitting down there who is probably loaded on drugs, who's probably loaded on low IQ, who sees these things and saying that, oh, it's a chance to go out and do that. If we are condemning violence, you cannot then say that a woman who was attacked viciously, that it says something, and no, don't do that, don't do that. It's horrible, it's wicked, it's dangerous. Okay. Let's appreciate the fact that
all right,
there is something in the water that makes all political operatives think that when their party is in power, they have a license to go and attack their opponents. There is something in the water. What is it that is in the water? Let's look for that element.
I'm grateful.
That's all.
You see, ordinarily, I wouldn't contest Doc on all the things he has said. You see, but that is the hypocrisy I am talking about.
Okay.
This is the hypocrisy I'm talking about. You want me to discuss our concern?
I talk about Honorable Sam George. I condemn the attack on Sam George.
Let's move on. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I don't endorse any attacks. I don't endorse any beatings. But do you want me to discuss the woman?
I get you. Thank you very much. Now, let's move on to Ridge Hospital. Because medical records from the Greater Accra Regional Hospital have confirmed that the nurse allegedly assaulted in the emergency department did not suffer any fracture or bone dislocation. Presented the findings of an investigative committee in Accra on Wednesday, August 27, 2025. The chairman, Dr. Lawrence Ofori-Boadu, said the nurse, Ms. Rejoice Chocho Botei, a rotational staff member, reported her injury a day after the incident and subsequently received medical attention. Quote, there was no evidence of fracture on her left wrist or dislocation of her right shoulder joint, as documented by the medical records, Dr. Ofori-Boadu stated. I've seen the Nurses Association also reacting to say there was, an objective for the committee to determine whether there was an assault or not. But this is what we have. Let me start with you, Mr. Agbayo.
Can I just ignore this issue?
Oh, you just want to ignore?
Because really, sometimes it's sad, right?
So are you ignoring or you're talking?
It was a question I asked. It was a rhetorical question I asked.
Okay, let me add this. Maybe you can take it from this angle. Now, the committee recommended strengthening security at the emergency unit. recruiting more clinical and customer care staff, repairing faulty diagnostic equipment such as X-ray, CT scan, and MRI machines, and expanding secondary level hospital in the region to ease pressure on Ridge Hospital. Dr. Bodo emphasized that addressing security, staffing, and equipment challenges was vital to preventing future incidents and maintaining public confidence in emergency healthcare delivery.
You see, medical professionals are human beings.
Yeah.
They have their own challenges, and their own issues that they go through on a daily basis. Sometimes those challenges, even domestic, can unconsciously come to bear in the discharge of their duties at the hospital. Anybody who is sick and goes to hospital is mentally not very stable. It's not a very normal human being. And so he has the potential of doing things that ordinarily he may not be able to do. The reason why, even when you're a medical practitioner and your direct person is involved in any condition, it's not advisable that you attend to the person because the emotional attached to the person. If you take a needle and you are injecting me right now, you will feel the pain I am feeling because of the emotional attachment. That is why oftentimes you get somebody who is a bit distant from you. If you go to a hospital with an accident victim and you see blood oozing out, the patient is screaming and shouting as if he's dying the next moment, and in your view, the healthcare person there, or the doctor or the nurse there, is just watching or talking on his phone or playing, not doing anything, you are most likely to think that they are not paying attention or giving the care that the patient needs. My admonition is that instead of the leadership of the unions battling everybody and fighting the committee in the media, they should rather educate the public. I was having an interaction with a doctor friend recently, and he was saying that if you bring two patients to a hospital, one of them screaming and shouting, the other one lying there cannot even open his mouth and talk. From where they sit as health practitioners, that person who is quiet and struggling over there is dying faster than the one who is screaming and shouting. And so oftentimes, they may even want to pay attention to that issue because all of you are on a scale. But one situation is more severe than the other. But we are lay people, we are non-medical people. And so when we see a thing like that, there's the possibility that you think they are not attending to your patient. I'm admonishing them to do more of public education. That there are several ways that help people attend to patients without necessarily having to touch you or give you a medication. Based on the condition, it can allow you to just rest and the system can recover itself. When we know this and we see them at the hospital, maybe we can tolerate it. I don't know the last time I went to a hospital. Sometimes when you stand there, you feel like throwing out. You feel like it's as if human life doesn't mean anything to somebody. It's as if we have seen people die every minute, every day. And so if your patient every die, so really is it news? That is the impression you get. I don't think there's anybody who wish for anybody to die. I know nurses and doctors that when their patients die, it is a major headache and pain for them. Some even cry, some even weep. Nobody wants that. But because you are vulnerable, it's your person that is involved. The way you appreciate their actions and everything, because they're cleaning your patient dying, then you see two nurses even laughing and doing those things. It's as if, look at this, we don't even care. And the doctor friend was telling me, sometimes it's good for them to do those laughter and the rest, to ease off their personal pressures and things that they may be going through. It heals them so they can do their work well. We need public education. Now, on this substantive issue, an issue happened at the hospital. The minister's office is not too far out from the Ridge Hospital. You know the Ministry of Health has been relocated to when you pass from President Rollins' house towards National Health Insurance Headquarters. They share a wall with them now. That's where the ministry is. So it's barely 2 minutes away from Ridge Hospital. So the minister in his office heard that, oh, something has happened at the hospital, and nurse has been assaulted. He moves himself to try to find out what exactly is going on. He gets to the hospital, there's somebody ran to give him a hug. He doesn't even know who the person is. He was accused of hugging somebody who was involved in the wrong thing. As a politician, if I step out of this studio, somebody comes to give me a hug here, is there any way I'm going to say no? And yet, in a very petty and the usual, there's something else that you want to question some of these people. Are they doing politics? A minister should not hug a person who is not even aware that was involved in any wrongdoing. And yet that became something that people were jumping on radio and television and talking about. Let me just conclude. The minister now set up a committee. Please go into the bottom of the issue and give us a recommendation. The committee, doctors were part of the committee. Medical doctors, senior doctors for that matter. They finished their work and brought their report out. Then somebody come back on here and say, no, we disagree with the report from the information that we have. Meanwhile, this person who is making this argument was not an eyewitness. He was not the one that thing happened.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
These committees spoke to the eyewitnesses. Why are we doing this?
Thank you very much. Mr. Afeloni.
Our hospitals are human institutions. As with all human institutions, perfection is an impossible goal. So, but any act of imperfection is absolutely no justification for anybody to molest, to assault a medical officer or a nurse on duty. The nurses have the right to ventilate their concern over alleged miscarriage of fairness in the report. But I believe that should not be our focus. Our focus should be on the recommendations. He said that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. How do we prevent such incidents from happening again in our health facilities? That should be our focus. We have a chronic issue of a low nurse to patient ratio, doctor to patient ratio. These are issues to look at. And also security. How do you beef up security to such an extent that nobody will have the right, the opportunity or access to less nurse or doctor? I think this is what we should be looking at.
So as the committee suggests, the security should be beefed up at the hospital. Anyway, Dr. Zaato.
And also the incentives for the nurses and doctors.
How must we address this issue such that it does not repeat itself?
There's a general saying, or it may be a truism, sometimes in government, that you never set up a committee unless and until you know the outcome of that committee. It's often said. So,
hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis. Oh, good one. Okay. See, the PhD student is still good for that.
Oh, look at
hypothesis that, look, never set up a committee unless and until you know the findings of the committee. So it goes
unless you know
what they will say. Yes, you know the outcomes. You know what they will say.
Ah, really?
That goes.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a political process. It's a political process to manage a difficult situation. The case has just happened. You're like, you know what? Let's set up a committee. You get to choose who to set up the committee, right? You get to choose. And then you choose. Now, first, you give the committee a time. By the time the committee comes, again, we've moved to the next headline. We've moved to the next shiny issue. Where the stampers have come in. And then, again, it's a political tourism. It's something that has come to stay. So I will look at that. Look, there's something happening here in this particular case. You have workers at an emergency public hospital dealing with some of the most vulnerable people in our country or in our human society. People who are sick, and not people who always say who are sick in an emergency unit. Any day, any time, I stand with nurses and I stand with the working masses of the world. I stand with the proletariat. I can imagine a social democrat sitting here railing up against working masses of the world.
No, I never
you
did.
are not a bourgeois.
I never did.
You are supposed to be a social democrat. Or you are a champagne drinking.
You are politicizing.
Are you champagne drinking? But anyway, that's on the letter, he knows that. But the point is that I will stand with the working masses of the world. And I will start with the nurses. Look, the headline all over was that, oh, there were no fractures on this nurse. The headline all over was that, oh, nothing, she was fine. I'm like, really? Is that the headline? Is that the headline from this investigation? The idea that almost none of the equipment there works was not a headline? Look at the headline here. The headline that almost all the equipment that are supposed to be in the Greater Accra Regional Referral Hospital to deal with patients, none of them was working. That wasn't the headline. The headline is that a nurse who says people came to her workplace, assaulted her. The committee says she's not assaulted. But that part, that became the headline. But there is severe revelations that there were shortages. Almost every single equipment there was obsolete or non-functional. Almost it didn't make it a headline. It was buried in the story. And that is how we treat with this, because then we are moving to the next issue. Then we are moving it. That is Greater Accra Regional Hospital. If this happened again, do you know what is happening at the Tumu Government Hospital in Tumu, my hometown? Do you know what is happening in other district hospitals? Tumu is a district hospital, by the way. Sorry if I said regional. Do you know what's happening at Tumu District Hospital in Tumu? If this is happening here, do you know what is happening in the hospital in your district? These are legitimate issues. I am surprised that wasn't the headline.
Okay.
I was surprised that is not what we are running with.
Okay.
But that an assault on the nurses. But any day, any time, I stand with the nurses.
A lot
with the working
but
that's the point I'm making, Mr. Afo, and you agree with this that's the story. That is the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Greater Accra, the seat of government, and almost everything in there doesn't work. How that didn't become the headline of the story beats me.
Okay, all right, thank you very much, gentlemen. So those who joined us for the news review. Okay, so Mr. Fred Agbanyo, Honorable, is the MP for Guan constituency, soon to be called Doctor, right?
Yeah.
What is it coming on so that we can prepare and then make the title ready?
Let me finish my defense.
I'll come for your member.
Dr. Joshua Zaato.
Now you do a party, right?
If you can give some money, why?
He's a political scientist and a policy analyst, and Mr. Felmoni is former GJA president. Well, just before we go, let's share with you our tips on, pensions for you today. Now, we say that, do you know that your pension is your future? At the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, our mission is simple: to ensure your pension contributions are safe, well managed, and ready for you when you retire. With licensed trustees and registered fund managers and custodian banks, these service providers are carefully approved to ensure your pension contributions are safe and properly accounted for. With NPRA watching over the system, you can rest assured that your future is in safe hands. NPRA ensuring retirement income security. So we do make sure that, before you retire,
say a big hello to Pakwesi, Moses, and the wife Diana. They are ardent viewers of this program.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. And also to Moses Animal, he is a policeman in Takwa. He's watching us at this moment. So, Police Animal, to you and the other police officers in Takwa watching us at this moment, good morning to you.
And by saying that we really want to have peace in Takwa, Akwetia by-election, let us go to that election and come out without even a fly dying. Let us be proud of ourselves that we have done it. We have done, we can do it. Yeah. So please, everybody, please, let's go there and vote. We are only going to elect one person to come and add up to the numbers that we have. Okay. We are not going there to fight. Go talk to the people, campaign, share your views, whatever you can do. Tell them and let them, based on that, judge you and vote. For me, I am convinced that the NDC candidate will emerge victorious.
Okay, all right. Now, are you looking to do things differently to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? Statistics do show that it's tough out here for university graduates, with only a few of you landing jobs immediately after school. So doing things differently is what you have to do, and that's exactly what the Design and Technology Institute, DTI, is all about. DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication to design innovation, including graphic design, sound engineering, animation, photography, amongst others, as well as entrepreneurship. Their programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, Pearson BTech, and CityVet, so you can shine here in Ghana or anywhere in the world. So if you're ready to do things differently and chart your own path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admissions or give them a call on 0541693534, 0541693534 for more information. We'll take a quick break. On the AM show, we'll be back with more. MFA at the Tiakosia will be here with more for you. Do stay on.
Welcome back. You're watching the AM show. Today, we're taking you live to the NPP headquarters, where former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the former presidential candidate and also flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is set to file his nomination at the party's headquarters this morning. And my colleague Kennedy is on standby to bring you all the sights and scenes happening over there.
They are not like
we understand that party supporters have massed up at the headquarters ahead of his arrival. This is the case. And what's it like at the headquarters now? We'll try and reconnect with my colleague Kennedy JC. Today, the former Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia is set to file his nomination, hoping to be the leader or the presidential candidate for the NPP ahead of the 2028 elections. And today, he should be shortly on his way to the NPP headquarters to file his nomination. And we're told that party supporters or his supporters have massed up at the party headquarters anticipating his arrival. And on your screens now, you can see some of the supporters clad in his T-shirt, branded T-shirt, Bawumia, waiting, anticipating for his arrival. Kenneth, if you can hear me, what updates can you bring us? Now, yesterday, we brought you the update. Kennedy Ejapon as well filed his nomination. Brian Echampan as well filed his nomination. Today, we're waiting for the former Vice President, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, to as well file his nomination this morning. And a little later in the day, Dr. Yao Osei-Dichum as well will file his nomination. We're live at the NPP headquarters, hoping to connect with our colleague, Kennedy JC, to bring us whether or not he has arrived, and if he hasn't arrived, what the supporters have been saying, what is it looking like. And these are very live visuals you can see on your screen, boldly written Bawumia at the back of some blue T-shirts, and as well you can see his photo in some branded T-shirts as well on your screen. Some chants happening. We'll be taking you there if you stay with us. We anticipate his arrival anytime soon, and also get to speak to some of the supporters and why they even support Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. Of course, this is your election headquarters. We shall now cross over to the NPP headquarters, where my colleague Kennedy JC is on standby while the NPP flag bearer hopeful former Vice President Muhammadu Bawumia is set to file his nomination today. Kenneth, what's the situation over there?
So it's a very charged atmosphere here. We've seen a lot of supporters of the former Vice President turn up here to throw their support behind him. He's yet to arrive. We were initially given an 8 a.m. arrival time, but as we speak, he's not here yet. But of course, it's a very euphoric atmosphere as we speak now. A lot of people from different constituencies around the country have showed up here to throw their support behind him. And I have some of them right behind me. I'll ask them which constituency they're coming from and really the expectations today. You're live on Joy News. Which constituency have you come from?
Very good. My name is Gabriel Yamwa. I'm from Ablekuma West constituency. I am polling station executive, that is organizer, electoral area, Shabu electoral area to be precise. Yes, yes.
And of course, you've come here to support Dr. Bawumia, but what are your expectations today? Because it looks like it's a mini concert.
For you?
Yes, a mini concert or a mini rally.
This is a real filing of nomination. That will bring unity and prosperity to the party and to the future leaders who are coming. And that is what we need. We need someone who can unite the party as we stand now. And we need someone who will not go around insulting people. That is one. Who will bring the party to its level, because we don't want NDC to be in power from 2028. That is why we are going in for Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud.
You mentioned that this is the real filing of nomination, but there's been already three or two or so, yeah, three, if my memory serves me right, that have been done already. They were not real?
You can see me laughing. I'm not smiling because those ones we know. And they've not realized nomination of filing. That is feeling of the people. But this, we've we've done it before, and we are going to do it, and we win the power.
Okay, I'll come back to you, gentlemen, but I want our audiences to have a feel of really what's happening here. So if you see here, it's filled with a lot of people, and of course behind me as well, you have a lot of people there. The road that leads to the party's headquarters is currently blocked, so all traffic has been redirected elsewhere. So you cannot come from where the stage has been mounted, where the pressmen and women have mounted their setup to wait for the arrival of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So that's how packed, jam-packed this area is as we speak now. Let's continue with the supporters who have come here to throw their weight behind the former vice president. I see that you are also in your Bawumia t-shirt. Do you share in the sentiment that your brother said, that this is the real filing of nomination?
This is it. From what you've seen here so far, what you've witnessed so far, there's no doubt about it. Dr. Bawumia represents the grassroots. The grassroots are for Dr. Bawumia, not for anything, but for the kind of message Dr. Bawumia shares. When he comes out to campaign, he's the only candidate. You can hear him vividly always tell his supporters, his support base, that do not go out there while campaigning for me and chastise my opponents, because they are, at the end of the day, party people. We will need them and their support base to work for the party for us to win the election. We are not going into the election for his selfish interest. We are going into that election to win power for the MPP, not just for Dr. Bawumia. So if we go out there and campaign and do all sort of dirty campaign against our opponents, how do we get them to come back on board to help us win power? So that is not the kind of campaign we do. We hear what they say, we hear how they campaign. We do not do that. We are going to do a clean and tidy campaign, so at the end of the day we can call them back on board so to help us win power. That's what
your brother mentioned, that he is campaigning cleanly. Is there a particular campaign message that he shared that has made you believe that he's the right man to lead the MPP again, despite his defeat last year?
Yes, if you know Bawumia, you know that he's a man of integrity. He preaches peace, and he always wants to unite the party base. So with that, Dr. Bawumia is the only candidate you see when he is campaigning. Like my brother said, he doesn't want any of his supporters to talk about ill about the other candidates. He always insists, go and campaign for me, don't insult my opponents. At the end of the day, like he said, we all come together and then we win power for the MPP come 2028.
So beyond his integrity and all that, what really is his campaign message?
The campaign message is there are numerous. The messages there are numerous. First of all, he preaches peace. Peace is the first, and the second one, we want unity. He wants the party to unite, and then with the unity, I think we can forge and then fight for the power come 2028.
There have been, you have said that he has ideas, but there have been criticism coming that if he had those ideas, he was vice president for 8 years, why couldn't he implement it? And why do you think that if you vote for him again, he can win and implement those ideas?
Very well, thank you. Dr. Bawumia has times and over said he was chosen by Dr. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to help him govern. He did that genuinely. He did that in all honesty. He was the chairman of the Economic Management Team. You are a witness to what he has done for the nation.
Tell us, what did he do?
His digital transformation of the nation. Today, the sitting government are out there testifying, they have testified that his works that he's done in the transformation agenda is helping them. When you talk of the Good for Oil program, it is helping the nation today. The reserves we left for the current government, it is there for all to see. That is what is helping. And these are only the tidbits of Dr. Bawumia. We want to see the full version of Dr. Bawumia. We want to see him at full vigor. Like he's often said, he was only the driver's mate. But now, he wants to be the leader of the nation and come out with his full ideas to help the nation into the digital age.
Okay. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Let me get more from others as well who have come from different parts of the country to support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Can I speak to you, sir? Okay. So we have another person here who is clad in MPP colors. Where have you come from?
I'm from Tema West.
Tema West. You've come all the way to this place to throw your support behind Dr. Bawumia. Why? Why do you think he should lead the party again after that defeat in 2024?
Thank you so much. The reason why I am here to support Bawumia is that he's the most competent and credible man to win power for MPP coming 2028. That's the main reason why we are here. But you spoke about the humiliating defeat. It's not a history. If you look at all NPP who lead MPP, like Kufuor, he didn't find it easy. Akufo do the same thing. So we must do the same thing to His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In fact, we are here to support him 100%. And we will not stop here. And he's not coming to win only the flag bearer. Our ultimate goal is for him to become the next president 2028, and inshallah he will be the president of Ghana.
Thank you very much. Let's get into the crowd and get more from the people, the numerous people who have gathered here to support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. There, of course we've got people from all walks of life. We have older men and women, we have younger people, the youth, everybody is here, and now we want to have a conversation with this woman who is almost always stationed here at the MPP headquarters. Mami, bipacho yemoache ba JoyNews so.
Me Adam.
Me say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Amafo bebre na ka say oko last year election no o di ncho inti di enti na yensa antoma ne biem.
Wafa. Sa politics de. Sa ejina na enya. Esa so do bio atase. Enti bi nkwahwa fact no di ntwen afi obenya. If you say Nejumapa and a man for Boshe, Nejumapa and a man for Botua Banaman, and Madame Musuma, me a cancel for order. Bawumia, why you be? Why you be Anka Santa me in Lord Sakwa or Batsania?
Yeah, that's it, Mami. Well, she's saying that she believes that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will emerge victorious this time around. I've cited entertainment analyst and MPP supporter Koka here, but I'm unable to identify him as we speak now because he's gotten missing in the crowd. But really, you have a feel and a sense of what is happening here this morning, and we're still waiting for his arrival. The advertised time was 8 a.m., but he's not here yet. And he's not the only person that's going to be here today. We're also going to have Dr. Osei Educhum, the former education minister, also turn up around 11 a.m. this morning. Let's get more from the people who have gathered here. Mame, me watching you, no kasakakra. Ufrihin no waba. Okay. Now, I didn't know free that they could point to Abaha say, Ober supported Bawumia.
Jensia, Amayena, and I did a Juma to her, Abaha said, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said. Yes, now who fama to watch. I was here, some man another chance. No cocoa, we need presidential when it is my and nothing and Yenina Yaba.
Well, she says that they believe in the vision of the former vice president. That's why they've come all the way from La Dadikotopon to throw their support behind him. I mean, I won't swear. I say, the MPP, you know, I hope Fadiana Apamatadie, Eddie, when I saw the MPP.
Papa. Dr. Bawumia, Nentuma Namafrano, Makuma. Imagine Kahun, Argent to meet na Komani dear. Enti Dr. Bawumia or your beer, or one Brassier, or yet or Tima, or Nimajuma. Enti
nipa saa no odi ɔman anim a ɔde yɛn bɛkɔ bɔhyɛ asase so enti ɛna nɔpɛ nifila dade kotopɔn sɛ yɛgyina ha Dr. Bawumia nti ɛna yɛgyina ha.
Okay, Medase, thank you. So those are the scenes here at the national headquarters of the party, and here you can see the elephant. That's the symbol of the MPP, big in the background. You can see it there, the symbol of the MPP, and also the MPP flags being waved by the crowd, who are ever enthusiastic, waiting the arrival of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So MFR and race, these are the scenes happening here at the MPP headquarters here in Accra. And of course, Koka, I was looking for you. I finally found him. He is a creative entrepreneur. That's how he wants to describe himself. You have been with Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia since day one. Why do you still believe in his vision despite his humiliating defeat last year?
It was expected. It's one of those things.
I expected he was going to lose?
No, after 8 years, governance becomes intolerable. So the odds were against us, the economy and every issue. I mean, he did better than Kufuor. He done better than Mills and other people who have contested elections. His first time. And in Ghana, it's difficult to win a first time. He has 49. I can't
41.
41. I can't 9 will do 15. And he's the only person who is going to contest, who has contested an election before. The next general elections. Anybody who will come has not contested the general elections before. He's well marketed, his ideologies, his politics, even though he's out of government, he's still working. The last BEC, people from Afram Plains wrote their items real time like everybody because of the drone. The drone sent the questions there. Go to the hospitals now. Real time, they take your data. You don't need to do a card. These are policies that shows growth. These are policies that shows transformation, that you need to impact on society. So he's a visionary leader, and I believe he is a person who will unlock the potentials in the creative business for a lot of the young people in the creative sector
But the critics have always said that he, as the head of the economic management team, didn't perform up to task. And really, electorate look at the economy. They say that it is always about the economy. Do you think that he performed well with the economy?
He had his challenges, and he admitted that he made mistakes. He admitted. Mahama crashed the economy, but Mahama have been given an opportunity again. And now you can see the things he did is there. He agreed that whatever you say Nanado did, he's also responsible. But new time, new era, new motivation. We are in a new dispensation, and you can see what is going on. Gold for oil, gold reserves, and all those things are things being attributed to him. So at least, as much as you blame him, give him the record for the good things he has also done. Things he has done, give him the credit for the things he has done too. The same as you give him the credit for the failures.
What different thing is he bringing on board in terms of the economy? What different thing is he bringing on board?
He will be the boss now. He is going to be the deciding factor. He is going to be the one taking the decisions. Because at the formerly, he was a vice president. Nanado was his boss. Now he is going to be boss. As an apprentice who has learned and have known the mistakes, he is going to change things and then reform the economy so that we all can get what is due.
Thank you very much. That's a creative entrepreneur, Koka, as he loves to describe himself. So these are the current scenes here at the MPP headquarters as we await the arrival of former Vice President and 2024 flag bearer of the MPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to file his nomination today. And as I mentioned earlier, later in the day, former Education Minister and MP for Bosomche, Dr. Osei Yao Educhum, will also be here to file his nomination as well. And yesterday, we had two people, former Agric Minister and MP for Abetifi, Brian Echampon, come through to file his nomination, and also MP for former MP for Asin Central, Kennedy Japan, also come to file his nomination as well. And 2 days earlier, the party's former General Secretary, Kwabena Eje Japan, also came to file his nomination. So that will be it. These the two, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Dr. Yao Educhum, will be the final ones to file the nomination. After one of them, Engineer Ade Nimo, pulled out yesterday, citing a number of reasons why he feels he cannot contest again. So these are the fans that you hear chanting slogans.
Dr. Nebano, for Bawumia Nebano,
So that's the crowds there having a few chants here and there. Of course, waving the flags of the New Patriotic Party as the setup of where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be addressing them if he's done filing his nomination is being done. Of course, I see a lot of them in highly spirited mood. Let me pick this woman's thoughts. Now, when you are Japan,
humble mind, Papa way, the whole world. You want to the pasta. Bawumia. Papa way, ni nyanimpo.
Now swear.
Papa way. And I'm not so na me bako school awie. Atwa so. So just say, esi happy there. Bawumia na ne pe. So say, o ahobrasie. Wo ko meeting ko onu kasa ahobrasie mu oni atem. No achire o kwa mo kasa. Wo chire nipuo odo e woni mu. Enu sie pe Bawumia so. Bawu.
No size.
Now free in the buy. If you're not at Raka, electoral area, an organizer, incoming new coordinator for not at Raka. And say, Enya Amibanka, me himself, I will on the post. matiti bi misi mi so ko no post ana me ba na miti see ama for bi ko contest
o dili so ko no post untie news won say ama for kan
David me say MPP penifo be hihye na wa ba enti me enu ana e ma adwin mu
asa o party na ka bi ma menka bi party nti o muntimi push obi sa so onko so mo
me say we bet possible say bet me ama na akọ na me say competition dey ama for be contesting na me ti say back me ni ama for contesting yes brand bi Kennedy miti di inu kwa poda enti ena na mbibi sa amafo say na omu so mu party ni mu ana na me MPP mu ni Kennedy ana miti bi say Kennedy da who I know is doctor and doctor will vote and doctor will transfer and na o see man obi ope doctor bi amani did attend enti and did attend
okay na ade ba ko be na wo hwe ni mu say Bawumia Nyame na dom no timi ebe flag bearer no be president ya onye
he will move Ghana now they are son say you are in digital world and why share you ma to order that ya nu for no amusi the drum amuti drum asem ida say Bawumia on nim je na all the drum by no say amudi hu fa so he have a more for Ghanaians and doctor will trust
and now also free if we are delegate.
Yeah, I'm a delegate from Tema West.
Tema West, all the way to this place.
Yeah, Carlos Ayenkwa, you know, yeah, I'm full Bawumia, yeah, I believe Bawumia is the
best. What makes you so confident in Bawumia's vision?
Bawumia, you know, in terms of, you know, digitalization is the best. And he's a future president. He's a young man, you know, he has a vision. He's a visionary man. So I believe in Bawumia, yeah, I believe in Bawumia. Bawumia is different among the rest. Yeah. So I think, MPP, we need to bring Bawumia. You know what? In MPP, anybody comes, and if anybody comes and go, and you need to come back. When we look about Kufuor, the former president, you know, former president comes and things is not work well. You know, you go back and he comes back again. And Nana Kufuor to the same thing happen. This is the time of Bawumia. Nana Kufuor use him as a vice president. And it comes and things doesn't work well, you know. This time around, we need to bring Bawumia. This is the second time. So I don't think we need to bring a new face. No. Bawumia is the best among the rest.
Okay, thank you very much. That's also one MPP supporter from Tema West there. And of course, it's a mini concert, literally. Even before Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia arrives, I've seen two women holding the banner of the former vice president. And I want to speak to them. Bawumia when he okay, so MFR, that's really the events happening here. This is from Okaikwe South constituency. Who's when you Bawumia campaign message beno wakan ato akoma so enti a wonti ne hujai
campaign o kan ma ko to makoma so ne say oba offense schools na economy so be ni yie atase e enti manage say Bawumia baba
medase mami operations always alert. What does that mean?
Always alert. We are always alert.
Where are you coming?
Okankwe South, constituency.
All here to support Mount?
Yeah, we are here to support him.
All right. Okay. So these are the scenes, as I mentioned earlier, currently happening at the MPP headquarters here in Accra. They are still awaiting for the arrival of the party's 2024 flag bearer, Mahmoud Bawumia, who will be filing his nomination And of course, after that, we'll be addressing supporters on that podium you see right behind me. It's been a very interesting atmosphere here. All of them almost charged up, confident that he is going to capture the flag bearer position for the MPP come January 2026. So we can enjoy more scenes from this area.
Well, it's indeed a jamboree waiting for the former Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. In filing his nomination today, and a little later as well, Dr. Yao Edichum will as well file his nomination. If you stay with us, we'll bring you all the sights and things that's happening at the NPP headquarters. Digital Assets Summit Africa will be happening later in September between the 29th day to the 30th of September 2025 here in Accra. And you can get more information if you visit their website, dasummitafrica.com, dasummitafrica.com, Digital Asset Summit Africa. Now as well, make your dream home a reality with EcoBank. Step into your ideal home or transform your current space into one that truly reflects your style and comfort, all with the support from EcoBank. EcoBank has once again partnered with JoyNews to bring you an exciting experience at the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair. This year's edition makes your journey to a comfortable modern home even more accessible and affordable with EcoBank's Buy Now, Pay Later. You can easily renovate, upgrade or furnish your home to suit your taste and lifestyle, whether it's elegant home decor, modern furniture, essential electronics like laptops and phones or solar energy solutions. EcoBank has the right financing tailored to your lifestyle, from staying connected with the latest devices to embracing sustainable living. Our flexible consumer loans, assets finance and salary advance products are designed to help you and bring your vision to life. Enjoy competitive interest rates, convenient repayment terms and fast approval from a bank that understands your needs. So anywhere you see this stand, please make sure to visit it and take the first step toward the home and lifestyle you deserve. Comfortable home starts with EcoBank. Be part of it. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. As well, from turning sachet into durable plastic lumber to creating jobs for women and youth, Asase Foundation's social enterprise initiative, Catch It, it's redefining green innovation in Ghana with plans to expand across the country. Catch It, it's proof that the country can achieve a cleaner environment and drive wealth creation. Here is a report filed by my colleague Isaac Atase Nyako on the activities of Asase Foundation.
Led by the quest to see her community and environment clean, Hilda Ada, a social advocate, and her partner Dana Mosora set up Catch It, a social enterprise which collects sachet water wastes and transforms them into plastic lumber. Supported by Asase Foundation, Catch It involves every actor in the waste collection and management chain, employing hundreds of waste collectors and aggregators to store raw materials.
We started Asase, and the essence of Asase is actually to retrieve as much foundation. The foundation itself is an NGO that looks for money to set up the operations. Now, in the operations, we have community work, community engagement, which is actually my background. We have the processing, that is the recycling part, and then we have the end application. So in the end application, we do the plastic lumber. Now, in the collection, we engage, like I said earlier, the waste pickers, the aggregators, and then what we say, suppliers. Okay. And for these groups, we start with the engagement and mobilization of the waste pickers. So currently, as I say, has close to 400 waste pickers that we work with within the 3 municipalities that we work. And in the subsequent municipalities we will continue to engage waste pickers.
The factory ensures all plastic waste sourced is tracked. Areas that record high levels of contamination, such as sand, stones, or non-plastic materials, are enrolled in waste collection education programs. At Catch It, sustainability isn't just routine, it's a careful strategy where incentive schemes reward waste collectors who properly segregate waste or deliver high-quality plastic waste with tricycles to support their work.
Now, before we even get to the mobilization of these people in the value chain, we also do awareness. Ghana as a country, we don't have segregation and collection culture. Our waste management, proper waste management knowledge is almost zero. So we do awareness creation by doing public announcements in the communities that there is this initiative that collects plastics. So people should segregate and collect the waste. So once we get it into our storage facility, that's the warehouse, we take them by supplier because all materials that we take have to be tracked. We track all our materials so that we know the source, we know the quality, and how to constantly improve the quality. And we do this because I told you that we are trying to show to the public the value of the waste, but also its impact to the community. When the material comes and it is contaminated, it means it was collected from pedestrian waste or it is collected from litter. It means that community where they collect, there is low or no education on segregation and collection. So we try to also target the community to improve this habit or this practice. And then also we are able to reward the waste picker, the collector, to be able to collect the right material. If it is heavily contaminated, the yield is very low, which means we lose a lot.
So help us, once you're able to do all of these, what then do you do with the waste?
Then when we bring it here, we take it to our processing plant. We have what we call the LD, the low density. Most of the materials we collect are the water sachet. So that's what we call the low density plastics. And then it goes through our crushing system, washing, and then baling. So when it is collected and washed and then baled, now we drain the water and then we take some of that and add it to other plastics, and we use that for the end application, that is the plastic lumber.
From crushing to washing and dewatering, the process moves into agglomeration, an automated multi-step system managed by trained personnel working in 3 shifts, a classic case of the 24-hour economy system. The final product is plastic lumber, an innovative substitute for wood used in producing items like desks, chairs, beds, flower pots, and more.
For the lumber, when we finally get, they come in the same cuts like the lumber cut. So 2 by 2 by 2, 2 by 4, 2 by 6, 1 by 8, and all. So when we get those cuts, we also have carpenters. We have actually trained carpenters because this material is an innovation. You can't use the skill that a normal carpenter uses to make furniture out of it. So we also train carpenters to be able to use this material. You can't use saw to cut. You cannot use hammer, normal hammer, to hit the nails. Normally they use drills, they use a cutting machine to cut them.
So is this an example of some of the artifacts you're able to make with the plastic lumber?
This is flower pot that is made, and this is about 2 years. It's been sitting in the sun, has no effect. The sun or rain has no effect on it.
So it's able to withstand every weather condition.
Yes, and then no termites. Personally, I use some of the first lumber we did 4 years ago to do my garden. And before then, I was using waste. The termites will always eat it. And when I started using the lumber, they are still there, not damaged.
Nia is a lead carpenter at the Wager facility. He tells us how durable the products are.
I think this one, how we are using for school days, this one is good. Because the wood, maybe the student, they can push the wood and things, but this one is too heavy, so you can't push it. Recently, we will do some for sink. They will wash their hand inside for some schools at North Carnation. Because we went there, they say if they use wood, at times the water spoil the wood, so we use the plastic to do it for them. They say they will come again, then we'll do another one for them. So they see that this one is very, very, very good.
Women and youth are the heart of the sustainability drive. Dagadu, one of 23 workers at the Widget facility, shares how her employment as a factory hand has been economically transformative.
First, I'm not doing anything. I'm in the house. Where I get the job, it's helped me a lot. Paying my child's school fees, my family, my rent. So this job, I love it so much. Yeah. So I'll never leave the job. I love it.
At the Asase Foundation's cashet, nothing goes waste. Water used during manufacturing is treated and reused. Even the residue from operations is sold to other plastic innovators as raw material for producing plastic pavements and building blocks, highlighting the foundation's broader vision for a green economy. While Hilda welcomed President Mahama's call to replace wooden desks with plastic lumber, she also urged the government to invest in such innovations.
You've heard a call by the president that we should do away with the use of wood for school furniture.
And again, that's also enforcing a bit about sustainability.
Exactly.
As we go green, we try to create a green economy. We need to encourage a lot of these things.
Exactly. And I think the president's call is spot on. For all these types of innovations with sustainability, impact, community impact, environmental impact and all that, you definitely need public drive. And if I say public drive, I'm talking about government. Government is one of our biggest procured.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest contractor, if you want to put it that way.
Yes, a biggest contractor. They build schools, they build offices, they build institutions, so many avenues. So for some of these construction needs, they can use products like these. So that first, they are the biggest.
Right.
So the biggest market. And then of course, then the public would also see how these things are used and then participate in the market of these.
She further called for the passage of the Extended Producer Responsibility Law to hold producers accountable for the waste generated from their products.
We need investment to expand this. If we have this in many communities, we can, retrieve as much as possible. We will also give the right education. And one of the sure ways of getting public investment or public support for investment is what we call the EPR scheme, that is the Extended Producer Responsibility, where producers, contribute money into a pot, and then it is used to support collection. It may be used to support education,
management,
infrastructure, public allocation through the municipal assemblies can also be used to invest in collection. So we need these two. We need public investment through the assembly, common fund or whatever. And then we also need this EPR scheme to take effect as soon as possible.
Hilda believes the Ghana Education Service should introduce a practical curriculum on waste management and segregation. She's confident that a combination of strong policy enforcement and education will drive the behavioral change needed. Construction of a new plant has already begun in Juabeng in the Ashanti region. By sourcing local artisans for equipment building, the Asase Foundation plans to replicate this model in Takoradi and Tamale, each step aimed at protecting the environment through social entrepreneurship.
Thank you for staying with us here on the show. We're nearly wrapping up, but before we go, I've got my news editor, Fred Smith, joining us. an important conversation happening today, the National Dialogue, organized by JoyNews, Breaking the Chains, Ghana's opioid crisis. Fred, how are you? It's good to see you in the studio.
Yeah, good to see you too.
When I see you, I definitely know that it's definitely about health.
Yes, definitely. We realize that the youth of Ghana today, the young people actually are destroying their lives, and if they do, they are destroying the future of Ghana. And so we've decided to have a conversation about that and find some solutions to the abuse of opioids. And in the documentary we had on Monday, we realized lots of young people are getting into it, some of them through no fault of theirs, others were lured into it. How do we find a way of stopping or cutting the flow into our communities so that we're able to bring down the abuse of opioids? And so for this evening, we have the Youth Development Minister himself, George Opariado, joining us on this thought leadership program. He will be joined by Dr. Olivia Boateng, that's the Director for Tobacco and Substance Abuse Directorate at the Food and Drugs Authority. We have other persons at rehabilitation centers, law enforcement agencies, and the national, NACOC, actually, the agency that's responsible for controlling substance abuse.
That documentary definitely brought to the fore how challenging. I mean, you may hear it in the background, knowing that, oh, there's the substance abuse, the popular question, Unim Red, is always being on the minds and the mouth of people as well. And so it's very good that you're having this conversation, and it's at 6 p.m. today.
It's at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel. It will also be on Joy FM 99.7 if you're in Accra. And if you want to join us from around the world, it will be via our website, joyonline.com, or through our social media platforms.
Definitely. And everybody's favorite, Kojo Yangson, will be...
Kojo Yangson, yes. He's the Deputy Head of the Health Desk. He will actually be driving this conversation. So we hope to get some solutions later in the day.
Why is it important that people join this conversation?
Well, it will help you if it's not you yourself, but maybe a relative, a son. In fact, 2 days ago, we saw a video of two students of one of the secondary schools in Accra, two female students. They were in uniform and had gone to one of the beaches in Accra and were smoking. This was in the afternoon. They were questioned. You know what they said? They said they had closed from school and wanted to just come to the beach and swim. In the uniform, no, they were definitely lying.
Wow.
Okay, and their parents don't know that this is what is happening to them. You're a parent, you've left, you're engaged in your business, but your child is actually on the ground. People are influencing them. So this conversation will bring to the fore the factors that lead people into this, what we can do to prevent it, and also cut supply of these drugs.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred, for making this happen today. You don't want to miss it. It's at 6 p.m. today. All of our platforms, TV, radio, social media, you cannot miss this conversation. Breaking the Chains, Ghana's opioid crisis. Fred, thank you for joining us on the show. And this is how we wrap up the show. Time now for Joy News Desk. Mamiesi Nyamiche Thompson will be up next. Thank you for watching.